I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
This is Big Beef, and you're tuned in to Sit Down Marks with AJ, Dirty Bird, and you know him, Primo. Check it out.
Episode 30 of the Sit Down Marks is sponsored by Coastland Apparel. Go check out coastlandapparel.com. Use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off your order. Welcome, everybody, to episode dirty number 30, boys. We made it. What's going on?
We're middle-aged. Again, we established middle-age rules in the last episode, so we're all middle-aged.
It's showtime.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are fired up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to get to it. Let me introduce my panel here today. Let's start with our guest here, back from episode 22. We went and saw some wrestling down in St. Louis last weekend with him. Had to bring him back. Mr. Thunder and Herd himself, Adam. What's going on, brother? Welcome.
What's up, guys? We meet again.
What's the Thunder and Herd's record right now, man? Where they at?
It's 2-2.
2-2, 500, huh?
It's not
That's loser talk right there.
Hey, 2-2.
Ask him about the Falcons.
Oh yeah. We got our first dub this weekend, so one quicker than I thought we would have in the first 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. Let me introduce to you the co-host from the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme himself, all painted up like Sting today.
So awesome.
Editor and producer Primo. What's up, brother?
Oh!
Nice.
What's up?
Show?
Not Surfer Sting though. Crow Sting.
No,
the better
not
Sting.
Yeah.
the better Sting.
Wait.
I love all.
I didn't say better, but
All right.
I will say I do enjoy the Crow Sting. Although I think one of my earlier face paints when I was a teenager, I used to do Surfer Sting a lot more.
Well, yeah, like teen me loves.
It was so easy to just do this
Sting.
with face paint.
Very
Child
well
me
done,
loves
though.
Surfer
It looks just.
Oh, thank you. I'll tell my artist, my artiste,
Let her know we approve.
Miss Primo.
Mrs. Primo back on the job.
The other host, the babyface, straight out of Yo Mama's kitchen.
Yo Mama's
It's
kitchen.
the editor and producer. Since Anthony and Gogo hasn't been around for a long time, it's your moniker now, as for dropping the bread in the biscuit basket.
The biscuits go in the basket.
The biscuits.
Hey Jay, welcome to the show, brother. Welcome.
Oh, hi, Marks.
What is it? What is it? It's 90 days or more. It's abandoned. So it's your phrase now.
Yeah, it's mine.
yeah.
I claim it as my own. I get the old bread biscuit punch, the muffin punch. I'm going to come up with a better.
Right.
I'm going to combine all of them. The foo punch.
All right, Beef, officially bring us in here. Let's get this show rolling.
It's the Beefster here, and I'm telling you, you better turn into the Sit Down Marks podcast with AJ, Dirty Bird, and Primo. And if you don't, Beef's gonna have to hit you with that beefy bomb. Tune in, folks. They won't disappoint you.
Beef last weekend in St. Louis Anarchy, man. What a heck of a show that was. I can't wait to talk about that later. But thank you, Beef, for saying hello to us as we ran the show. Me and Adam got to talk to him as we walked in. And
I missed it. He's so over. Like, it amazes me how over he is in these live shows.
When he raises his hand and says Beef, the crowd instantly responds.
Yeah,
man.
he is an over gentleman.
He is. We're going to talk about that later. And we're also going to talk about me and AJ got tickets to the October 22nd show. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm ready to go here. Let me thank our everyone listening right now on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and SportzWire online radios at 645. Right before the Thomas Bryce show throughout the week. And if you like the pod, go tell a friend, go tell anyone you work with, a coworker. Leave us a great 5-star review on whatever platform you listen from. Primo, let's get started, man. Wrestling history today and birthdays.
This day in wrestling history,
Whose
September
game is
29th.
it?
Primo's game, baby.
All right,
170 days.
Oh, fuck.
You're going to
This
get a
day
fruit
in
punch.
wrestling history, September 29th. That's today for all you marks out there. 1985. You're going to like this one, Dirty.
Bring it.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Ric Flair defeated Nikita Koloff to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, Ivan Koloff rushed the ring, and Crusher Khrushchev closed the cage doors as the Koloffs assaulted Flair until NWA World Television Champion Dusty Rhodes made the save.
Dusty Rhodes, baby.
Yeah,
Moments later, Ole and Anderson rushed in, locked the cage door, and the Andersons and Flair assaulted Rhodes in a trap.
Whoa.
This sounds
Flair-
amazing.
Flair knee dropped Rhodes' ankle and applied the figure 4 until the cage door was finally open. This assault sets up Dusty Rhodes' famous Hard Times promo when he returned a month later.
That's fantastic.
That is legendary. That was 1985, man.
Yep.
So
I was alive
Koloff, the
back
Russian
then.
Sickle.
This is lead up to Starrcade.
Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. Crusher Khrushchev, who ended up being in Demolition as Smash later on down the road.
Wait, really? He was Smash?
It was Crusher Khrushchev, yes, it was.
Really? He was worthless in
Yes.
Demolition.
I know a little bit of useless knowledge like that, so awesome, nice, man. That was that was big, man. I mean, yeah, it produced the Hard Times promo. We talked about it plenty of times
Hard Times, baby.
on this podcast, so love it.
All right, moving forward. 1998. Raw is War. Had two, not just one, but two of the most notable Raw moments of all time. If you watch the top 25 Raw moments of all time, top 100, whatever, these two are going to be on there. Mr. McMahon was in the hospital. Mankind, in a feeble attempt to cheer up Mr. McMahon, introduced a sock puppet, Mr. Sacco.
Mr.
McMahon's
Sacco.
utter disdain for the puppet had the opposite effect, and fans warmed up to the sweat sock. Mick Foley would incorporate it into his finisher, the mandible claw. Mr. Sacco would go on to become one of the most over props in wrestling history. Later in the show, though, a disguised Stone Cold Steve Austin as the nurse Austin assaulted McMahon in the hospital room, even giving the boss an impromptu rectal exam.
That's right.
This moment is known in wrestling lore as the bedpan McMahon situation.
Oh, good stuff, man. In the heat of the McMahon Stone Cold
Thumb right to the
old
yeah,
thumb in the old brown hole.
yeah.
Was that necessary? Like, Jesus.
What was that like South Park episode? They're like, see this thumb right here? I'm gonna take a stick right up your butthole. They were impersonating one of the animal hunter.
The crocodile hunter.
That was it. Yep.
Stick my thumb right up his bum.
Crikey. All right. Wrestling birthdays on this day, September 29th, 1986. None other than my big brother. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy
Love
birthday,
you.
Kevin Owens lookalike. That's why I got the
Yes.
shirt on today.
That's
by the
right.
way.
He is a
There it is.
KO lookalike.
There you go.
Everybody
Right there.
knows it.
Happy birthday. I've never seen him before.
Hey,
though.
brother Primo.
Brother Primo, brother.
Brother Primo KO.
1985. Candice LeRae.
Yeah, I saw that.
Makes her
when I was-
36.
Me and Adam seen her wrestle a lot up close.
That must be fun.
Right now, she's got a bun in the oven.
A bun in the oven.
Do we know what it is yet? Boy or girl, they said?
No.
The bun punch.
Actually, I don't know.
that
Did
doesn't
they?
work.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Baby
Actually, they did. It's a boy, I think.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Baby wrestling.
1971. Stacy Carter, otherwise known as the Cat or Miss Kitty.
The cat.
Yeah. That was how the whole puppies thing started, right?
Puppies!
Wasn't it Miss Kitty?
That is 100% it. Yeah.
Yeah. Lawler. Lawler was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was while they were dating. They end up whatever later, but yeah, that was how the whole thing started. Was he called her boobs puppies.
Yeah. Well, and she showed him on what pay-per-view was that where they were in the pool and the cat was just
Oh,
like
the
boobies.
Blood and stuff everywhere. Stephanie was involved, I think.
And then someone freaked out and grabbed a towel and
Mae Young, maybe.
I think it was Sergeant Slaughter is the one who came out with a towel.
Yes.
And I was like, no!
The Sarge.
No boobs, ultimate puke. Have you ever noticed how he has like the biggest underbite in the history of underbites?
Yeah,
Like,
but it
when he
worked
just-
for his gimmick. It ain't his bite; it's his jaw that sits down lower. I think
Ultimate puke.
his whole chin out. I met
I
him
love
one
Sergeant
time.
Slaughter.
Super cool dude, man.
Oh yeah, he sent me that picture. He looked awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
1970. Tajiri.
Tadgers?
Oh,
Love Tadgers.
Was it Japanese buzzsaw?
Yeah,
the Japanese buzzsaw. Yeah, man. He was in a,
ECW awesomeness.
And that is this day in wrestling history and birthdays.
I want to throw a quick shout out to former guest of the show, Ishmael Vaughn.
Ishmael
Today is
Vaughn.
his birthday. He is 27. Happy birthday, Ishmael.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Ishmael.
you, sir.
Awesome.
Go check
Thank
out
you.
his episode. He was on here earlier. AJ, talk to
I
him.
also
man.
saw he's tag champs with Kid Bandit.
Yeah,
Kid Bandit, yeah,
Me and
yeah,
Kid
they're,
Bandit. Good for them.
Yeah, they are together. Up, nice little combo together, back and forth. AJ, talk to me, man. What's going on in the headlines in wrestling?
Well, you know, I get kind of sad every time you throw to me, and it's not my game, so I don't get to say it's AJ's game, baby.
Whose game
But
is
it's-
it?
No, see, it doesn't work.
Primo's game, baby.
I gave it.
See, even when it's not Primo's game, it's still Primo's game.
We got to come up. We got to come up with something for you.
Whose
buddy.
kitchen is it?
AJ's kitchen, baby. Anyways, so a couple of news notes, headlines, all that good stuff. Couple of pay-per-views have announced their locations. One for sure, one rumored. Royal Rumble is going to be in St. Louis in 2022, and all of us are going. So everyone,
Yeah, I mean that's
signed up.
You couldn't be happier.
I hate that drive.
Shut up! Shut up! You're going. You just did it. You can do it again.
Adam, it's a Sunday night. You'll just spend the night at my house and go home Monday. Just
Yeah,
take,
listen,
take Monday off. Just take
I'm gonna
Monday
have
off.
to fly over.
Yeah.
It's quite a drive
Yeah,
for me.
everybody can stay at my house. Well, AJ's got his own house at home.
I got an extra bedroom too. So
Yeah, but
there you
everybody,
go.
yeah.
Free
I was
hotels.
wondering- Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's on a Saturday night this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Even
Takeover
better.
is going to be.
We're
It's
gonna need to recover.
January 29th, I think. But
Mhm.
still, anybody, yeah, you can stay at my house. Anybody, yeah, on the pod.
Another pay-per-view.
Anybody out there?
Yeah.
Another one that we're all going to go to. Rumored SummerSlam appearance in the UK for 2022 on the
Oh,
30th.
we're all going to that one?
Yes, we're all going to
Yes.
fly over for that one.
It's gonna be a hot and hot.
RP, hook it up.
Get your passports ready. It's the 30th anniversary of the 1992 show in Wembley Stadium when Bret Hart lost the IC belt to the British Bulldog, which is one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time.
Awesome pay-per-view.
So I know one of my hands down favorite. That's one of my favorite matches. This is the 30th anniversary. Well, this isn't, but next year will be the
Gotta
30th
get the
anniversary.
RP Davies RPD chant going. Get it over there.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes, that's why we're going, is to start RP Davies chant.
That is cool. I'm glad they're finally going to get a big pay-per-view over there, man. That's cool.
I know that's not like some one-off B show. Like they're getting one of the major ones again.
And then it'll come on at like 2:00 in the afternoon here. 1
Hell
o'clock.
yeah.
So that's awesome, man. I love day wrestling. Daytime
I do.
wrestling. Give it to me.
I do too. Sad news for a couple of performers. Alexa Bliss, done for a while, rumored that she is having sinus surgery, and I myself have had sinus surgery, and it fucking sucks, and I don't wish it on anyone. The recovery time is awful because you basically have to like watch your face for like 2 months. It's horrendous, and it's like, but
What goes
And-
into that?
so what they did, well, like I have a deviated septum too, but I didn't fix that because that's way worse. So what they do is they go in to your brain, or they can go through your eye too. When I did it, they went up my nose, but they can go in through your eye as well, and they cut some stuff and they do some things, and then they take a chisel and they bash it in your face, and that's not all true, but it's basically that's what it feels like when you wake up. Is that your face got bashed with a chisel? It's awful.
Real.
So yeah, don't get it. It's horrible. However, it helps a lot. Also, Sheamus is having surgery. I couldn't find. I don't know if you guys found what for, but he's having surgery as well, so he's done for a while. Both of those are very sad. A couple of other notes. Ratings for NXT are way down. I don't know if you guys saw that. They dropped by like 12% this week alone, which they also dropped last week from the previous week. Like, it's not a good situation.
Man, that's you think it's because of the new
Yep.
2.0?
I
and,
absolutely did.
the revamp. Ew, I don't know.
I absolutely think it has everything to do with that. I think it has Adam Cole leaving. I think it's the revamp. I think it's just a terrible decision. Like, everything surrounding NXT right now, while it's still a good show, is none of it was great. So yeah, ratings are way down, and even more depressing for NXT is, like, in the key demographic, they're like 18 to 49. They dropped a huge margin. It was like 30% or something like that, which is that's like alarm bell number.
Yeah. Well, they had to know that a
Percentage-wise.
dip was coming, it's kind of like, go all in and take 3 steps back to, rebuild and, come back. They had to know what's going to happen. But, here's the thing is, they stick with the plan, do they, and come back strong, or it looks like a totally different product right now, from the venue to the athletes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody new is going over. You know what I mean? We seen that last night on NXT too. So
especially like
not
Von Wagner. Although I do love Braun Breaker. I think is that his name?
Von Wagner, Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker. I do.
What are we talking about over here?
A couple of other things. It was reported that Bray Wyatt was going to appear on AEW tonight because, they're in Rochester, which is Brody Lee's hometown. However, Dave Meltzer reports that is not going to happen. Also, just a fun little tweet. Seth Rollins tweeted out, and I don't know, this made me laugh so much. The only thing is Seth Rollins said, quote, "I guess we can say shit now. Very exciting. #shit." End quote. Wonderful. Just wonderful. And that's basically all I got. Not a whole lot happening in the news. Raw on Monday is in Nashville. They're requiring COVID mitigations, which you have to show your vaccine card when you go to watch Law Rive. That's not correct.
Nope.
When you go to watch Raw in the arena, you have to have vaccine cards. So yeah, those are the news notes, blah, 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 and done. I'm out.
Very nice. Also, we are still doing our fan shout out. If you want to DM us on Twitter at SitDownMarks and let us know where and when you listen to the podcast, we will shout you out on the pod. Let us know, and we will shout out your name and where you're coming from. So let's get this show started today. Let's talk about what's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about, of course, Bryan versus Omega, the huge AEW Grand Slam week that was last week. We're going to talk about Extreme Rules that was last Sunday. And then after that, we're going to talk about St. Louis Anarchy Wartime that me and Adam and AJ were front row for last week. So we got a lot to get to here. So let's get to it. First of all, I want to let everybody know that all our previous episodes are now available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and SportsWire, basically everywhere you get your podcast. But Primo, we do have merch, that Sit Down Marks t-shirts, hats, mugs. Where can you get the Marks merch at? Let the people know.
Well, Dirty, let me tell you where you can get your Marks merch.
Well, why don't you? Thank you.
tpublic.com/stores, STORES /sit-down-marks, all one word. SITDOWNMARKS.
Buy our stuff.
You heard it from the tribal chief himself.
That's right.
The Sting face-painted tribal chief. You got a lot of gimmicks going on right now.
This is Levi Cooper.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins.
This is Big B.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, and you're listening
And you're listening
to the Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
and you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Let's get this wrestling underway, man. I'm excited to talk about what happened. Let's talk about last week. Last Wednesday, AJ, AEW Dynamite, probably the most anticipated Dynamite to date. Even with a possible a Punk, this was big, man. This was this hype. This match had the hype coming into it. We've been wanting to see this match our whole life. It was great to see it on a main stage, and the cool thing was they got right to it right off the bat. So, AJ, AEW Dynamite, man, let's talk about it.
So their kickoff, Omega versus Bryan Danielson. This would main event, anything in New Japan. This is a WrestleMania main event. This is amazing, and they start off their weekly program with it. And wow, like this is my favorite match of the year, and that takes a lot to say considering the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was this match amazing! So,
awesome storytelling, man.
It was
storytelling, just perfect, man.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Wow.
Swedish chef.
Fruity. Birdie. I don't know how to do the Swedish chef kiss. So, so for my notes for Dynamite, 2.5 pages. 2 pages of it is this match. I actually had to stop taking notes at one point. So I'm just going to try and go through this as best I can. The crowd, first of all, is unbelievable. They love everything and pop for absolutely everything. They were going nuts for just the two guys standing in the ring. It was a collar and elbow tie up. They went nuts. It was a light punch. They went nuts. It was the crowd sent this match to a whole different level. The match itself starts off almost like a New Japan match where it's kind of slow. They're feeling each other out, so on and so forth. However, it doesn't matter.
Up, the crowd goes nuts.
They were going the crowd would not let them do a slow build.
It was great, man. I had goosebumps, man.
I did too.
This
the entire time.
Adam, talk to me, man. What were you feeling right here when these guys locked up, man?
Yeah.
I was. One second. Sorry.
No worries.
He was a little bored with it. He just didn't even want to talk about it. He's like, you know what? Fuck that match. I'm leaving.
Well, I watched it not live. But just I tried to. Just couldn't make it happen. I still, I ended up. I knew the result at what had happened before. I got to watch it, but just some quick stuff. Before AJ finishes talking about the match, just
finish. I haven't even started yet.
This was one, it felt like a once-in-a-lifetime match. We were seeing two big powerhouses collide, quite possibly the two best wrestlers ever. I mean, there's an argument there for both these guys.
Yes, there is.
So, there's a couple moves in the match that was absolute amazing to me. And I'll talk about those when we get there. But it was just awesome, man.
It was.
Primo, get that fucking Sting look off your face.
He's just sitting in the rafters watching. Yeah. I mean, this match was no DDP Johnny B. Band match for Kimberly's bingo money, but it was still it served its purpose, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember the DDP the Johnny B. Bad feud.
Well, of course, it was one of the biggest ones in history.
they played for Kimberly's bingo money. It was.
Wait a minute, let Adam talk about the Omega Bryan match.
Oh yeah. You all touched on it, but the crowd at the beginning of the match. There's something about a crowd being that jazzed at the beginning of a match that fake enthusiasm can't create.
No.
It's when crowds are that riled up at the beginning, I don't know. It's just
when you walk into an arena and the crowd's already hot and we're 30 minutes out, from showtime, it's going to be a good night, man. And then if you already know what the card is, you're going in to see, Bryan, and I'm going to be fucking hype walking in that place, man. On top.
Which this crowd, I don't know how, because they recorded this and Rampage back to back. I don't know how. It has to be one of the hottest crowds in history. All 20,000.
And they did dark stuff.
Yeah, and they never got tired. They never.
It must have been
wore out.
What, 5 hours at least?
Yes.
Where were they at for this?
New York, Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Oh, that's right, man. Hey, hats off to them, man.
That's WWE country too. Like that's their
right. They brought it. They brought it.
They did.
I think the other thing that really stuck out to me was a 30-minute match feeling like 10 minutes.
10. It was like nothing. It was just like
Breathe.
It starts and then it was like over. Like the bell rings. Like spoiler, the bell ring. It's a 30-minute time limit draw.
Yeah.
But it like I was like, wait, what? No, that can't possibly be. I thought it was like 11, 12 minutes in, and the 30 had gone by already, and it never let up. It was so good.
Yeah. Real quick though, that's a lot of times when we know it's good. Like another reason, I'll say this too. Comparable, not comparable, whatever you want. Just because I want to relate to it, but we were, ringside for Makabe versus Jeremy Wyatt last Friday night at Anarchy, and like when the bell rang and that match started, like I felt like we were like watching. I was like, and then it was over, and I was like, holy cow, that was sweet. But I can't wait to watch it again because like I was so into it. And that's how you know it's that good, man. So when you're that involved,
Speaking of Daniel Makabe, guess what move Bryan Danielson hit, and I marked the fuck out.
Did y'all see that?
Did you not? You didn't see my text message?
We sent the text though. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I said, what did I say? I said, Bryan Danielson just hit cattle mutilation.
He hit the cattle mutilation. It was unbelievable. I was going nuts.
I marked out for that. When I saw that, I was like, whoa!
Right.
Also,
and then the fact. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
continue.
one side note, one thing I really love, aside from just this match, I love that Excalibur has the proper names for all of the moves out there.
Yes,
yeah,
he knows all of them,
awesome.
And it adds so much to the match. Like you go to like WWE and Michael Cole's like, what a wrestling move, and it's like, come on,
vintage.
His brain is like the perfect wrestling announcer. They say he's like this generation's Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay was kind of that way too. Like all the technical moves and names for him and stuff. Excalibur, man. Like I remember calling he used to call PWG shows, I think, and I think he's great, man. Like he is. I love the mask gimmick to go with it. Like we can walk around in public without a mask and not know it's him. It's great. You know what I mean? But yeah. All right, AJ, get to the match, man. Let's do it.
So this is just a minute. By the way, Tony Schiavone mentions that this is Daniel Bryan's first match in 145 days. He did this after 145 days off. It was amazing. So they Omega takes control for a lot of the match, but Bryan makes his comeback with hitting chops, kicks, his backflip off the top rope that he hasn't done in 145 days. He hits a top rope Hurricane Rana, which is awesome, and then Omega in response hits a standing Hurricane Rana, also awesome. Then we have the amazing cattle mutilation, which is fucking awesome. I was
great, man.
Also
on TV.
Like, you guys know how much I love the V trigger, but this time Omega hits the coolest V trigger.
That was one of the other moves.
Oh my god,
V trigger, man!
He goes
the ramp
all the way to the back of the ramp, runs down, and just smashes him with a V trigger.
Oh, I thought, God, don't break Daniel's neck, please.
Oh, I know. And when he hit the dragon suplex onto the ramp, I was like, please don't do that to Bryan Danielson. This is no good. Oh, also, I despise the buckle bomb, but Omega hits the safest buckle bomb I've ever seen.
Sure.
Seth Rollins, please fucking take note. This is how you do a buckle bomb. Like, you don't just hove the back of their heads into the top buckle.
Right.
And yes, we do love Omega. We do. It's true. Moggle. So even at one point, Shavante and JR, like, they stop commenting on the match. They're like, hey, guys, this is really fucking good. Like, they're like, this is amazing. Like,
right,
so they mark out.
You're like, you realize what we're witnessing right now?
Yeah, they stopped and they were like, okay, this is really goddamn good.
They allowed themselves to be fans for 5 seconds.
Yes, which also added to the match.
Time stop.
Also, 24 minutes in, and I realized, because I didn't realize this before, but 24 minutes in, there had been 2 pin attempts. 24 minutes in, and the 24-minute, that's when they tried the second pin attempt. And it was with that awesome, like, I can't remember the name of it, suplex that, it was almost like a perfect plex that...
It's avalanche dragon suplex.
No, it was like a package suplex that...
Oh, okay.
That Bryan hit. But it was so awesome. Two pin attempts. Like, none of that fucking about we're like, oh, we're going to go for a pin attempt in the first 10 minutes of the match. They let it breathe, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Then Omega hits the top rope dragon suplex.
Yeah.
Another V trigger. Omega finally goes for the one-wheeled angel. Bryan reverses it into reverse Hurricane Rana, which is, again, made me fucking go nuts. At this point, I stopped taking notes. So I think there was a missed Phoenix Splash that Omega tried to pull out, but he missed it. And then when, like, you know how something is going to, like, be a time draw or something like that, they'll do the bell will ring, like, right when someone's about to tap or when the ref is about to hit the 3 count. No, in this match, the bell rings when they're just beating the shit out of each other. Like, that's what they were doing when the bell rang. They're still beating the shit out of each other. I was like, no, why is that over? No.
Yeah.
Then your typical run-ins, Young Bucks and fucking Luchasaurus and Jurassic Express, blah, 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 Christian Cage. But wow. And there was no winner, time limit draw, but this is the best match of the year. This was goddamn believable.
It was awesome. Absolutely amazing. Glad it finally happened. Glad we're going to see it plenty more times, hopefully.
I think so.
I think the finish was probably the only call that could have been made.
Yep, I agree.
It was safe. People are pooping on it, but
no, I loved it. Like,
I love the finish. I mean, it keeps it keeps Daniel safe and Omega safe.
Yeah,
and they just wrestled their asses off without paying attention to a time limit.
And they didn't cheapen it by having it be like some sort of DQ run-in, like, finish or something like that. Like, it was just awesome. Like, everything about it was awesome.
I think
what it is what it is.
Thank you, Macho.
You're welcome.
I think the time limit draw oftentimes feels cheap, but when it feels like the first chapter for all of us, I think it almost makes it, like you said, the best choice.
Yeah. The perfect appetizer.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't think they're going to wrestle again for a while because, like, Bryan's next opponent is rumored to be Nick Jackson, which is fucking awesome. And so, that was
I feel like it was kind of this thing. The time limit ran out, and it's like, well, I feel like these dudes could go another 30 minutes.
Yes, they could have. Yep. And it would have been amazing, every single minute of it. So after that's the opener, that 30-minute time limit draw. Yep. And there's, like, after that was over, and I was expecting, I was going to, like, stand up and, get a sandwich or something like that. Then I was like, oh, shit, there's still an hour and a half, 2 hours left of programming. So I was like, whoops.
Right.
So then, after that awesomeness, CM Punk comes out, and the crowd is still rabid. Like, they weren't tired at all, which, unbelievable. When CM Punk comes out, he talks about the match. He's like, I'm glad I'm not wrestling tonight because who can follow that? Like, no.
Right. Yeah, right.
That was awesome.
He says it right after too.
Then he talks about how it's been a long time since he was in New York, and it's been a long time since pro wrestling had been in New York, which was a great dig at WWE because, again, that's their, like, home turf, and CM Punk basically called them not a pro wrestling show.
Non-wrestling? Yeah.
Yes. And then he talks about how everyone, wants the angry CM Punk. And he's like, no. He's like, you can't take this away from me. I need this. I didn't know how much I needed this, but don't worry. Angry CM Punk will be back at some point. And then he talks about how Team Taz and Hobbs in particular tried to take away what he needed, and that makes him angry. Crowd loved it. I loved it. Fantastic. We still have more matches. MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr., which MJF was a classic dick. Brian Pillman Jr. was a classic babyface. Fantastic.
I'm going to just say this about my boy B.
PBJ?
PB&J, what do you got?
In time, my friend.
I think you're actually right because he looked pretty good.
In time, my friend. We're gonna shine him up a little. He's rough around the edges still, but he's
getting better.
2022, 23.
It was
23.
How old is he?
He's 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah. I said earlier in the podcast in the early days that he'd be AEW champ by 2023 or sometime by 2023. So I got a little time.
He's 28.
Oh wow, I didn't know he was that old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a has-been already.
We're good.
Send him to the glue factory. That's where they send horses when they can't run anymore. To glue factory.
Is that a movie quote or
no? That's
what just happened here?
My regular nonsense.
Oh, okay.
You being a weirdo. What movie is that from?
My weird
no
brain.
movie, just the AJ constant movie in my brain.
I wish you guys could live in my brain
sometime. Proceed before you piss Mr. Kennedy.
Hey!
Hey, we did some of
Anyways,
that.
so in this particular match with MJF
We
and
did,
PB&J, all kinds of initials. MJF uses Julia Hart as a shield, which then allows him to reverse a springboard clothesline and get the salt of the earth for the submission. Fun match. PB&J looked absolutely fantastic. Everything about this did its job. Up next,
The
Malachi
Bengal
Black.
tights can go though. Those can go.
What can go?
The Bengal tights, like the tiger gimmick.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I like the tiger gimmick because
Cincinnati gimmick.
I don't.
Well, and and his dad, he wore the lions on his shirt and stuff a lot, so it's all tied in together. But like the Bengals trunks and pads and stuff, like
I think the mullet is eventually going to have to go.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, also he's going to have to break up with Griff Grifferson, which will break Griff Grifferson's heart. But we'll have to move on.
He's Jannetty anyway, so
he is. No, he's not. Quit comparing him to Jannetty. Jannetty's awesome. Griff Grifferson fucking sucks.
I like Griff. He needs
he's the worst.
I like Griff.
I like the.
There you go. See?
No, like why am I always on my own?
Griff wrestle, man.
I think he's the star of the duo.
You shut your mouth. That is not even.
No,
don't even mean that.
That's just buffoonery right there.
I do.
No. All right, let's make a bet between me and I don't know what kind of bet. Let's just see which one ends up being the star. How long do we give it?
Another week and a half before Griff Grifferson is like, wow, I know that I suck. I'm gonna go ahead.
He's the Jannetty.
No, he's not he's not.
I don't mean he's a Jannetty in the bad way. I'm just meaning, but I'm glad you're saying that so I can clarify. I don't mean he's in the bad way. I just mean that Bryan is more the Sean. He's going to be the star.
But I like Jannetty.
Yeah.
I think he's the demolition crush of this particular pairing.
I think I'm the Jannetty of this podcast. Can we move on?
I don't even know what's next. Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes? That sounds right.
Yep.
Brandy Rhodes is back. She has a cool spot where, Malachi does his little flippy and then into the CM Punk sit. That's right. It's the CM Punk way to sit. Like, don't take it away from him. And she gives him the old double birdsies. Nice. So the crowd kind of boos Cody Rhodes, which
there's some go away heat going on there.
I liked it. I was a fan of it.
Why do you think that is, Adam? Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that
I think it's because we're all smart dorks now. I think it's I don't think that you can have your hands all over everything.
Sure.
Even if you're doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think maybe my original description was harsh, but I think part of it, everyone's in the know. Everyone knows how involved he is in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this two things? Is this heat because he said he was going to go away for a while? He did the whole like kind of bye-bye. I'm gone for a while.
For a
now
month.
he's back. And
For a
then
month.
That's a while in wrestling time.
Right, but is the second reason because of this reality show they got coming up for film?
Well, yeah, you got to promote that.
We got promote it, right?
Yeah.
Road to the Top. By the
Road
way,
to-
catch it on TNT Thursday nights, I think.
That'll be $10. Road to the Top.
I happen to be a Cody Rhodes fan.
I also like Cody Rhodes.
Another thing that I think it might have been was Cody and Brandy getting face spots, and they're going against a guy that the whole crowd wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that was the actual dynamic, he's the face, Malachi's the heel, but with the crowd, that wasn't the in real time dynamic of the match.
No, it was almost like a double turn in the match.
In this day and age, it's like, okay, so whenever I was during the Thunderdome time,
Let's not talk about that.
I was on Raw a couple times, and whenever like Shayna Baszler would come out, the moderators would be like, "Okay, everybody boo." So
really,
I'm like, you can't tell me who I want to boo, and all of us are, like you said earlier, we're all smart. We these days, like, we like who we want to like. We're not.
Whether they're heels, faces, or whatever, right?
Right. So, and we all think Tommy Inn, Malachi Black, we all think he's a badass. So we don't hate him. He hasn't done anything that's like absolutely ruthless heel, like super heel to maybe like, oh man, maybe that's a little too much, you know?
Well,
he has short of killing somebody, you know, I'm not going to hate him.
Yeah, I mean the black mass, all you got to do is get it close. I mean, horseshoes, hand grenades, and black mass. That's
right.
You know, that's all you got to get it close. So,
if Arn Anderson can give him a quick outside block,
that's all you need to do. Like, everyone watch Arn, because in his old band, like, and then the black mass is neutralized. So like,
keep rolling, AJ.
It's like one of these. No, not that way, but that way. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, obviously, Malachi Black gets the win. Yep, moving on. FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin. Sting is 62 years old. I'm just going to throw that out there. The man is not human. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, that's his shoot age?
Yeah, he's 62 years old.
Wow. I did not
62.
realize that. Wow.
So, when my dad was 62, like, my dad is still alive, but because it's going to make it sound like he's dead. But no, he's still alive. When my dad was 62, he couldn't even walk up steps, like, at all. And, like, his excuse is, well, he was an electrician. So he's like, I've been an electrician for 30 years. Sting has been taking bumps his entire life. It's a little different than climbing up and down a ladder, father. My dad doesn't listen to this. Fuck that guy. So he is 62 years old after taking, again, 35 years of bumps, and he can still, obviously he's not what he used to be, but I would still say he's like 65, 70% of what he used to be, which is so impressive. But end result, Sting gets the win with a Scorpion Deathlock. Fun match. Didn't mean a whole lot. Darby Allin's awesome. FTR is awesome. Everyone is awesome. So yeah. Up next, and your main event, finally. By the way, I'm skipping all the backstage segments because I've now been talking for, an hour and a half. And this is still just dynamite. Britt Baker versus...
There's no interview this week.
That's true.
I had to live rock and roll, baby.
That was so random. That was so random. Like, I just want those for the rest of the show. Just random interjections that mean absolutely nothing. I'm fantastic. What's next? Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho.
Destination unknown.
I like this match. Britt Baker, they're gonna have a problem with her pretty soon. Ruby Soho had the match won, but got distracted by Rebel and Jamie Hayter like a dumb babyface does. And then Baker gets the lockjaw for the win. And then you could breathe for a little bit because that is the end of AEW Dynamite. I say that Britt Baker, or they're going to have a problem with Britt Baker because I don't know how they keep her heel. I don't. Same thing with Adam Cole, but we'll get to that later. That's the end of Dynamite. Ta-da! Or in French, Voila!
Is Britt joining Elite at some point?
I don't think so. I think
I would say so.
They're gonna have to
They're
turn
gonna
her
need,
face.
they need a female. They need
We
a
got to
female.
split company at some point. Like
Yeah.
there's got to be 2 different versions of that faction or something.
Yeah.
Like the Dark Order.
Well, that's what Bullet Club ended up
Wolfpack,
doing.
baby.
Bullet Club and the
There we
Elite.
go.
No, if they do Wolfpack shenanigans, I will quit watching.
Well,
Like,
I even think like maybe they could just be like warring factions version. Yeah, like
I'd be okay.
there's too many egos. You know, him being brought in as second hand to Omega. I feel like they're kind of setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have their own thing in the Super Click. So, the trio, the Young Bucks changed their bio already that they want the trios championship.
That'd be awesome. I hope they do that.
I said that. Didn't we text about this a while back, Dirty?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think was I the only one that don't like it. I don't like it.
I love trios.
the trios champ.
It's made up titles.
I love.
I mean, technically, all the titles are made up.
They're all made up.
Let's bring the European title back.
I would be a fan of that. I would like that.
Let's bring the Western States title back.
So do you think that like titles
Hardcore
like
titles.
existed in nature, and we just brought like
In history?
6-mans or schmoz matches. They did that in the 80s, man.
No, man,
Tag team match, player.
This way, using it as like an action sprint. You know, like yeah, absolutely. It won't. It's not going to be like you really got the long, slow build tag matches.
I just like all the 3-man factions. You got,
it's faction titles. That's what they are.
Yeah. Okay, I see your point.
Super Click, or you got freaking
Death
Triangle.
They'll
Jungle.
hold on anyway.
What are they called? Jurassic
Clearly,
Express?
the Gun Club. We're all thinking the Gun Club, aren't we?
I know.
I was saving the best for last.
Okay, all right.
Right, AJ?
Yes. Wait, what was the question? I kind of spaced out.
The Gun Club is the best trio.
All right, let me jump in here and
yes.
get the rest of this podcast rolling here. Let me talk about what's happening this weekend on the Indies. We got AAW at Bourbon Street in Chicago. This plate holds a special place in my heart. This is a place where I met Adam for the first time. We sit next to each other ringside, and we've been going to wrestling shows
It's a
together.
sweet story.
Oh, it
Do
is.
you go back for anniversaries?
Sometimes,
Yeah. We do sometimes. But
Anyway,
anyway,
fingers.
Friday night, defining moment at Bourbon Street, Chicago, Illinois.
Big man hug.
We got, not this weekend, but we'll be talking about it later, St. Louis Anarchy. They just announced a show for October 22nd. We'll talk about that later when we cover the wartime show. All right, also this weekend, all right, it's Minoru Suzuki weekend, everybody, because he is at a lot of places this weekend. One of the places he's at is PWX on Saturday. The card is called Hail to the King. It's advertised in Concord. Minoru Suzuki versus Anthony Henry is who he'll be taking on there. And then October 3rd, Sunday after, he'll be in St. Louis for Glory Pro Wrestling, Little Ring of Horrors, and he's going to be wrestling Davey Richards. So that's going to be all there. Yeah, pretty cool. And then also coming up this weekend, Zawa Live is wrestling in Oregon, Illinois. I believe Bucky is on that one, Bucky Collins.
Our boy Bucky.
Couple notes this weekend of what happened this past weekend. Limitless Wrestling, Anthony Green is the new champ there. And also, you guys heard me talk about Eddie Kingston was at Defy up in the
Seattle,
Northwest, Seattle last weekend, and Moxley ended up showing up as a surprise. So he was there. And then also some other notes real quick. Adam, PWG was Sunday night, right?
Yes, that was Sunday.
18th anniversary show was in LA, correct? Did you make it?
I did not make it. I had to cancel it. Just had some personal stuff and work stuff going on. Canceled the trip. Bummed, but
easy ticket to sell though. Easy ticket.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. Especially
Couple notes of what happened that night. Bandito defeated Davey Richards. Evil Uno defeated Tony Deppen. Alex Shelley beat your boy Jonathan Gresham, which was
I think that was
interesting.
number one contenders match, I believe.
Number one contenders match, yeah. And then the other one that I seen was Malachi Black and Brody King are the new tag champs. They beat Black Taurus and who was Black
Flamita.
Taurus? Flamita, yeah, yep. And so, and then I believe Bandito retained the title. Ain't Bandito champion there, I believe?
Yes. Yep.
All right, so that's what happened on the Indies this weekend. We'll be talking about St. Louis Anarchy later. Make sure I got to everything there. Yep. All right, so
yes, you with the face paint.
Go, Sting.
All right. Sorry. Speaking of Alex Shelley, did you see that him and Maccabi are finally facing off?
Oh, are they? When? Where? Sign me up.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest.
Yes. Yeah. I love going up there, man. So depending on when it is,
I'll go.
I did see that. I retweeted.
It's Rise of the Dragon. Yeah.
What's the town? What's the town?
It's the WAC promotion.
Yeah, without a call.
Yeah, it's in Everett, Washington.
Everett. Let's go.
Yeah.
VFW Post 2100. Be there.
The home of Daniel Bryan and Kurt Cobain.
That's
Aberdeen.
That's Aberdeen.
That is Everett.
Fuck. I'm stupid.
Everett
all right, let me get to what
trees.
I do know about Impact Wrestling. Was that all you had, Primo, right?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to point that
Impact
out.
Wrestling from last Thursday. Let me run over this with you real quick here. Josh Alexander, right off the top of the show, relinquishes the X Division title, and he will become the number one contender and will take on Christian at Bound for Glory. So I'm excited right there. Right
Option C.
With that match, yeah. Option C is what Josh Alexander is taking there, and it's kind of his gimmick for that night. Nice little one-liner, man. I love that. What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say they're going to do a X Division title tournament starting, I believe, next week to see who's going to take the X Division championship.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think the first person to do Option C was Chris Sabin.
Chris Sabin, yeah. I thought I heard somebody use that before. All right, so and then Ace and Madman Fulton attack Christian Cage. Alexander versus Ace Austin happens later that night when Cage is out talking. So that means they would end up fighting later that night. Then the next match was David Finlay defeated Hakaleo with when Hakaleo kind of tripped and rolled up and fell. Anyway, but this basically left the door open for El Fantasmo to make his return. So he comes back. They're all throwing up the two sweets and, doing the gyrations.
What? Too sweet.
And they attack Induced. Next up, obviously this is been recorded. Eddie and Sammy attack Moose backstage.
Moose.
Because Sammy's been hurt because they're looking for Morrissey. So that's what they are doing. Brian Myers and VSK get beat by Rich Swann and Willie Mack after Sam Beal throws VSK off the top rope and Swann pins him. This was a funny little story with Brian Myers and his little cronies that follow him. So anyway, to get towards the end of the night, Mickie James challenges Deonna Purrazzo to a match at Bound for Glory. Main event, Ace Austin versus Josh Alexander. This was a really good match, man. I was totally into it. Josh wins with the C4 spike. Madman Fulton attacks Josh. And then Christian saves him. And then they all go at it. And then a surprise return. Everybody stops, looks at the ramp. There's this music playing. This symbol pops up on the stage. And it's none other than the fallen angel, Chris Daniels.
Yay!
Yay!
I love Chris Daniels.
Me too.
He jumps in the ring.
I'm not a Grinch.
They clear out Ace and Fulton, and then he stands between Christian and Josh at the end. And I got a little bit of triple threat vibes here, boys.
The old thruple coming through.
Chris Daniels,
Thruple.
yeah, and Christian and Josh Alexander. So, and but one last note from Impact Wrestling, Alex Zane is making his debut next week.
Ooh,
yeah, that's awesome.
That is dope. I would like to correct myself. I apologize. I said Chris Sabin is actually Austin Aries, the greatest man who ever lived.
Oh,
was the first option C person.
Yeah.
All right.
Honest mistake.
Let's get to the weekend of WWE. Primo, bring us through what happened in SmackDown. This was Go Home SmackDown.
Let's not.
They were well. Let's get through it. They were They were in the city of brotherly love here, so let's feel some love.
Whoop, whoop.
Let's put some love back in WWE here. Positive thoughts.
Put some love on it, baby.
Let's get SmackDown going on, man. Let's do it.
Smackity down. Let's go. Show up there. Becky Lynch arrives to the ring to open up the show. She's giving a Primo.
She's giving a Primo. I wish she was giving a Primo.
Put myself over. Self high five. Bang. Anyway, she's giving a promo when Bianca Smellair interrupts.
Hey-o.
That's right. I said Bianca Smellair because I don't like people interrupting Becky like this.
I don't either.
They
Wait, what one was that? What randomness?
Woo! Yep. The showstopper. Who is
Becky
the main
awesome.
event?
Becky was awesome on the mic here. You
know,
I'm
you're
not a
actually giving Becky props for once?
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, I'm not a Becky fan. Y'all know it, but she was good here, man.
So as she was delivering a Primo, she Bianca Smellair interrupted. Unfortunately,
well done.
They exchanged some words, but end up brawling, and Bianca's able to land the KOD and leave the man laying in the middle of the
throne where the Princess Smellair.
That was pretty good too.
Moving forward, Kingsuke Nakamura defeated Apollo to retain the Intercontinental Championship.
All right, so real quick, my son, I'm trying to get him into wrestling. The only thing he freaking pays attention to is when damn Rick Boogs plays that damn guitar, man.
Smart boy.
Like, it's the only thing I can get. Like, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it, but like it's funny, man. Like, and then when they get done, like, you'll watch the match, and when they get done, he's done. That's funny though. Good stuff.
I have the same reaction as your son does.
As what?
To the product.
To Rick Boogs.
Like, I only care about Shinsuke. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving forward, Rollins says he still has not heard a response for the challenge he laid out to Edge. He says the sound of Edge's silence is deafening, and the truth is that Edge is hurt bad. He says he wants an answer, and he doesn't want to wait. He orders Edge to show up on SmackDown next week, which is this week, and to tell everyone the truth, professing Rollins' superiority.
I like this promo.
He says if Edge doesn't show up when then he will find him and make him speak.
My beard is itchy.
What you think about that? Another home invasion segment?
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
Every week.
Last home invasion segment we saw, what was Triple H and Randy Orton's home?
Yeah.
No, it was Randy Orton.
No, it was Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, wasn't it?
No, it was.
Did he go to his house?
Joe went to AJ's house.
Did he?
Wasn't that who did it?
How's our girl Wendy?
Yeah.
I think you mean it was Randy Orton going to Bray Wyatt's house.
That was a that was a match.
Yeah, but Bray Wyatt had throw pillows on his couch.
That had to be before he did.
He burned down Sister Abigail.
Yeah, I forgot about this.
He had throw pillows.
That bent people out of shape on wrestling Twitter. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
I loved it.
It was like when the Starbucks cup was sitting on the Game of Thrones.
Yes,
you knew.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Great. That's good stuff.
Hey, Michael, in the chat over there. What do you think of Game of Thrones? Just answer us in the chat.
I almost don't want to know. I love Game of Thrones.
As do I.
We have the premiere of Happy Talk on SmackDown. Okay, so I have a slight problem with it. I like Happy Corbin, the new thing he's got going. However, I've actually been against this for a long time. I don't like that every fucking person gets a talk segment.
It annoys the shit out of me.
Show, the highlight reel, the whatever
Miz
else,
TV.
everything, Yeah, Miz
Moist
TV.
TV.
Moist TV. The Happy Talk, whatever it is, Happy Show. I just said it, Happy Talk.
Alexa's Playground.
Like, come on. Back in the day, it was like you had a couple, and
you had back in the day you had like Piper's Pit and
Brother
Love
Love
thing, and that was like
and then later on, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, you just had the highlight reel. So and now
14 minutes of wrestling per hour. That's insane. This is a pay-per-view week too. That's disgusting.
So anyway, so they premiere they have the premiere of Happy Talk on SmackDown. The very first guest is, of course, himself. He says that another thing that makes him happy is seeing the footage of him beating up KO from the week prior. So he goes ahead and shows it. Kevin Owens, my older brother, comes out and interrupts Happy Talk. On the way to the ring, KO gets blindsided by, damn it, I never went and got this dude's name. Who is that guy?
It was Haku.
What are you talking? Which guy?
What?
I don't know.
Start thinking about Haku.
The dude that blindsided Kevin Owens on the way to the ring.
It was.
I honestly couldn't recognize him.
Dirty Dick Slater.
That was like Friday night. I don't remember. I didn't write anything down about that match. So I don't remember who it was. This is your stuff. You should have looked it up.
Yeah, I wrote it down. This is what I wrote down. Kevin Owens gets blindsided by ?
Giant haystacks. It was giant haystacks.
Yeah. Haystacks Calhoun.
Yes.
So and then I wrote, and then Corbin and his new companion beat Kevin Owens down.
Someone has to look
all right.
Oh, it's Riddick Moss, dude. It's Riddick Moss.
Right.
Riddick Moss. That was who I thought of. I was like,
Okay.
you don't know Riddick Moss? He's been, I don't know, he's been in WWE since, maybe the beginning. He's probably one of the few original guys, maybe. But, yeah, he's been around. He's been,
So he was in NXT for a long time.
Yeah, he's been in NXT for a long time. Yep.
Huh.
He was with Tino Sabatelli that one time in NXT. They were a tag team. They had the nice car. They had suits, and they ended up having a fallout. Anyway, move on. Y'all ain't like. Do you even watch wrestling? You fuck.
Michael,
fucked. Do you even watch wrestling?
Michael just asked.
No, I just write question marks on a paper.
Was he a sex gimp? Probably why Dirty knows so much about him.
You don't remember?
I don't even get that.
Sabatelli.
Because you like all the sex gimps.
Don't bring this chat text.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Cross.
We'll get to the final point of SmackDown here. So backstage, Montez Ford says Roman has been treating the Usos like his bloodline bitches. In the Tribal Chiefs locker room, Roman demands a match with Montez over his comments. In the main event, Roman defeats Montez via guillotine. After the match, Paul tells him to take it to the extreme, and then he calls for the Usos, and they answer the call. Usos' music hits. Roman begins assaulting Ford with a steel chair as the Usos set up a table ringside. Roman says, "Who's the bitch now?" New guy. "Who's the bitch now?" Anyway, Roman says, "Who's the bitch now?" and then slams Ford through the table. Then the lights go out, and the demon appears on top. The demon appears on top of a very much intact ring post. The demon goes extreme on the bloodline and takes them all out as SmackDown goes smackety down, goes off the air.
A very much intact ring post.
Couple notes. The Liv Morgan push is coming, I think.
I hope so. I like Liv Morgan.
They're going to push her off the pre-show?
Yeah, probably. I like Montez as a single, though. Like, I mean, he's got the mic skills.
He does. He's awesome in the ring.
Yeah, he's awesome in the ring. He's a high flyer. He might be a kind of guy that Mike can get behind. And then, I love that spot when the lights came on and the demon was standing on the post. That was cool. I like that. That was sweet.
I mean,
otherwise the show wasn't that good, but
it was awesome. Terrible. That was
also a go-home show? No.
All I can say is that you boys ready to talk later about the Bearcat.
Wow. Oh, the Bearcat.
Bearcat.
Was that your Bearcat impression? Sounded like Vince looking at bodybuilders.
All right, AJ, get us rolling here one more time. AEW Rampage last Friday night.
This is Grand Slam Part 2. Wow. So, first of all, 2 hours long. God, Eric sucks. He's the worst. Look at his chair. His stupid chair. Anyways, what are we talking about?
Rampage.
Oh yeah, Rampage. Not how much Eric sucks. God, he's awful though. I can't get over how awful he is. He's gonna come back and be like, "Why the hell have you not even spoken about Rampage yet? I left so I wouldn't have to hear your garbage." Anyways, okay, so CM Punk to kick off the show. It's CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs, which is awesome. This is Punk's first televised match in over 7 years. Fan-fucking-tastic. Like the fact that your face is painted, you can barely see it. So wrestling and stuff. Okay, everything's fine. It's fine. So CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs controls most of the match. Punk sold really, really well for him. Made him look like $1 million. He makes his comeback though. Hits a swinging neck breaker and then running knees and then a lovely Swedish Chef kiss, Macho Man elbow, fruity. And then he does hit. Did you guys see the awkward Hurricane Rana that?
Oh
yeah. Where he lands on his head.
Well,
yeah. I was like, maybe save that one for later. Didn't look great, but it was fine. You know, everything was fine. So the end of the match, Hobbs runs into Hook, and then Punk gets the GTS for the win. It was awesome. I loved it. It was fantastic. Up next, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Jurassic Express and Christian. Okay, Adam Cole is
Super Click.
The crowd loves him so much. They are never going to boo Adam Cole.
Baby.
They're never gonna boo him.
Don't
ever.
say never. He might make JR kiss his ass or something, and then everybody hates him.
Well,
I don't even know if that'll do it.
This is wrestling.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yes.
It's gonna take a lot.
So Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Jurassic Express and Christian. Jungle Boy once again looks awesome. That's another one of your calls there, Eric. You're 2 for 2 currently. Adam Cole beats the shit out of Luchasaurus with kicks and a Panama Surprise. Bucks then hit the BTE trigger on him, and Cole finishes the match with Le Boom, which I'm rechristening the Boom. And again, so this match didn't really mean much. There was lots of spots, lots of shenanigans.
Right.
But how can Cole stay heel after this? Like the crowd loves him. I don't understand how they don't push him as a face.
They're gonna ride this elite thing for a while, so they got a lot of T-shirts to sell, man.
They do.
Before they break this thing up, man. This is Bullet Club 2.0 here. If I could, Adam, what do you think, man? Like, I feel like the recreation of what happened in Japan is going to try to be done here a little bit, and it looks like, to me, they're on their way.
Yeah, I think I think your statement about merch is spot on.
I know, right?
It's all too new right now, and I've heard merch numbers for a lot of the new guys that have come in, and it is ridiculous.
Oh, I'm starting to see it more on the streets and stuff. I don't know about y'all, man, but the AEW merch is out there.
Yeah, and without that, with it still being new, I feel like eventually they're going to have to split that group and have them go at each other. But yeah, I think that that it's going to roll for a while.
Yeah, they're going to sell a shit ton together, and they're going to sell a shit ton against each other.
So
yes, they are.
In this day and age, you can't. It's hard to, with the internet age, to basically say you guys have to hate Adam Cole just because we say he's a heel. However, all of us love him because of his talent, his charisma, because he's awesome. Also, if you watch this, that's another thing too. Back in the 80s, early 90s, wrestlers were living the gimmick, brother. They didn't break kayfabe. But now you go watch 5 minutes of Adam Cole's Twitter, and you realize he's one of the sweetest men walking on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
So you're not going to hate this guy ever, unless he kills a puppy on live television. So
even then, people would probably be like, "Oh, that puppy had it coming."
That puppy had it coming.
You got a stupid puppy.
Fuck that puppy, baby.
And tweeners, it's fine to be a tweener now.
I mean, Randy Orton has always been one.
If the fans are divided on one person, that means that person is over.
Well, shit, even Bryan Danielson's a bit of a tweener, a little bit. Obviously he's a baby face, but he didn't have clean rope breaks. He didn't.
Going back to the old Danielson style.
Yeah, which was awesome. Yeah. So I mean, I get what you're saying, and it makes absolute sense.
But it's like the John Cena effect. If half the crowd is hardcore for you and the other half is hardcore against you, then it's
the whole crowd is reacting to you.
Yeah.
Right.
So that could be where Cole goes with that, or we talked about Malachi Black earlier. Even Cody gets on the other end of it.
I feel like Cody doesn't get the same responses though.
Yeah, it was a little more go away heat, but
I
could see him going down that road of tweener and just really embracing it. Trolling the people booing him and then playing to the ones cheering him.
And then going away because I love Cody Rhodes, but do what stick to your promises and shove off. Go that way. Go hang out with Brandy. Up next, Chris Jericho and Jake Hagar versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page with my boy Dan Lambert, who is still awesome. So, by the way, I went Dan Lambert.
Wait, who did you say?
Dan Lambert.
The Ayatollah of rock and roller.
Okay. You may proceed.
I may proceed. So, you used that one earlier in the show, right?
I did.
Yeah. Just wanted to bring it back.
This was the real spot.
Okay. This is just a test before. So, this match, I want these guys to just build to an MMA match. That's what I want out of Jake Hagar and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I want Scorpio Sky to never talk ever because I hate him talking.
We know.
I know. I've said it so many. I hate him. But never mind. I've been over why I don't understand this pairing because Dan Lambert can talk, Ethan Page can talk.
Your dream tag team right now is Billy Gunn and Scorpio Sky.
Scorpio Sky, yes. And they fight 2 bears, one polar bear and one grizzly bear. Hungry bears, too. And both of them have salmon taped to their jocks. I want to see that match.
Smelly salmon.
Yes. So and after and both Billy Gunn and Scorpio Sky have to punch a bear cub right in front of the 2 bears in the ring. I'm getting way too deep with this.
Yeah.
I just want them to get mauled by bears is the moral of the story. Billy Gunn, I hope you get mauled by a bear. Scorpio Sky, you're fine.
That's not nice.
Yeah, well, Billy Gunn is stupid. I don't even know what happened to this match. Scorpio Sky gets the inside cradle on Hager for the win. So this match was again another not really anything match. It just everyone looks awesome, and I really want them to do an MMA style-ish match with these guys. Not Jericho, obviously, because Jericho would get just murdered in an MMA style match with Jake Hagar, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page. But yeah, good match. Liked it. Loved Dan Lambert. By the way, did I mention this show was 2 hours? Up next, HFO versus Lucha Brothers in Santina and Ortiz. I'm hilarious. So my whole notes. Good at speaking. My whole notes. I'm the Godfather. Rafiness in a match? Question mark. Match is awesome. That's really all I needed to say about this match, because otherwise, again, it's a spot fest. There was one point where Matt Hardy tries to cut Ortiz's ponytail off, which was silly. And, Orange Cassidy they're going to have a hair versus hair match at some point. And
Matt the Barber Hardy?
Yes, Matt the Barber Hardy.
Matt the Barber Hardy.
The Booty Man. So the end of the match is all the moves are hit on what's his name? Mark Quinn. Is that how you pronounce it? Mark Ken. And the Lucha Brothers get the win. Obviously, Spot Fest, which is fine. So on and so forth. Up next, Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford gets the win with breast knucks. Moving on.
Yeah, Penelope.
So really, really quickly, the main event. Again, I feel like this show had so much packed into it in a 2-hour time period. It was amazing. Yeah, so it's Minoru Suzuki and Sir Murderhawk versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. So
working face.
Yes, which speaking of tweeners, Jon Moxley is a perfect example right there. Everyone just wants to see, Suzuki and Moxley go at it again, because they're so awesome. And this is another beat the shit out of you for 12-minute match. Yeah. Homicide comes out. Hooray, Homicide. Yeah, and Moxley's he's tied up, and Homicide comes out and frees him. This is just a brawl. So the finish of this match.
Homicide's Eddie Kingston's mentor.
Yes. So it was cool that Homicide came out. I do like Homicide.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So Eddie Kingston puts Sir Lance Arthur in a garbage can, and then beats the shit out of the garbage can with a kendo stick, right. And then gets the pin. That's awesome. That's the end of the match.
The pin was I love the bashing. Put it over the head and then just crank.
Just beat the shit out of it. It was great. So that's how Rampage went off the air. It was good. Good nothing match. I want to see Suzuki and Moxley again. I don't think we will.
Badass week in AEW.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
It was awesome. All right, let's flip
what I got.
Switch here. Primo, you're going to run by. The next one in line would be Sunday night. The WWE.
Yeah, I'm going to go down the card real quick.
Extreme Rules pay-per-view. We're going to go down the card here. Yeah, where was Extreme Rules, by the way? Where's it held?
Held
on the internet. Let's see.
I have no idea where it was.
That's a good question.
I always like to know where so we know what crowd.
Nationwide in Columbus. That's right, because it's Alexa Bliss's home.
Okay. So that's right.
Columbus, Ohio here. Okay, here we go. Extreme Rules. Run by.
Right, I'm just going to run down so we can get this out of the way.
Yep.
Liv Morgan beat Carmella on the pre-show.
Sure.
In a random match, The New Day defeats Lashley, AJ, and Almost.
Nice.
That was I was watching Extreme Rules. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Right? Yeah, it's weird.
That wasn't announced.
That was out of nowhere.
The Usos retain their tag championships versus the Street Profits.
Good match.
Yes, agreed.
Great match.
I like that one.
Match. I enjoyed this. Probably my favorite of the night, honestly.
Damian Priest defeated Jeff Hardy and Sheamus to retain the United States Championship. Now that one was not too bad either.
Oh I really like that match.
I was saying Damian Priest is starting to kind of turn me a little bit.
Me too.
Thank you.
He's growing on me.
I wasn't going to rub it in on you, but I was going to ask you guys. Honestly, I was going to ask you guys. I had a note written down right here. Just ask if y'all's mind has changed a little bit about him, because he looked really good here.
He did.
Yeah,
he's getting over, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't like the Archer of Infamy thing. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But yeah, I'm becoming more. I'm getting more and more on board with Damian Priest, especially when Jeff Hardy is there, putting him over, which was really cool.
But an alter ego of somebody that's a demon makes sense, but an Archer of Infamy does
yes. I don't see what the problem is.
I'm going to pull Balor on you every time you
well, you see, you see, host, he's an actual demon.
Okay.
Whereas it's not like Damian Priest has a bow, or
No.
he just goes like that. Like
So
it's
if he
not
was really like shooting targets and nailing them bullseye, you'd be like, oh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be like Archer of Infamy right there.
I like that. In NXT, I liked it a little better because he did the one above him. I kind
And the flames.
Yeah. I like how
What
they.
I mean,
I don't know
he
where
had
it goes after that. I think
it just disappears.
The nickname is just the mannerism, I guess.
Yeah.
If he had a real bow and arrow, he could tag team with Sword Boy.
No.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad y'all are turning a little bit on him. He deserves it.
I am.
So I saw somewhere, speaking of Sword Boy, I saw that, and don't get me wrong, big fan of Drew McIntyre.
Me
but
too.
I saw somewhere that he said that if he doesn't eventually hit somebody with that sword, it's all going to be a waste.
He just points at people with it now.
I know he does.
Anyway, so yeah, Damian Priest retains again. It was a pretty good knockdown triple threat. But then we have the man.
Real quick though, had me thinking Jeff was going to win for some of those spots. I'm like, Jeff,
yep, me too.
And I was like,
I would have been okay with it. I would have had no problem.
I have expected it, to be honest, just because of the massive outpour from the fans here recently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
talking shit about the way they're booking him.
If you want to get a guy over, a longer reign always equals that for me. Take a title off of him quick. It looks like a, quick little transitional champion type deal. So the fact they left it on him gives him more clout. So I like it.
Right. So moving on, SmackDown Women's Championship. We had the man Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair,
featuring special guest enforcer Becky Lynch's camel toe. It was all over the fucking match. No, just me. I'm the only one who saw that because it was right there. Like
I didn't see it. Did y'all, Shay? Or
I did not see that.
Go watch the when Bianca Belair picks her up at the end of the match before Sasha Banks come out. It's just there's ninja
I also
foot.
didn't watch it on my 4K TV. I watched it on a computer monitor.
Okay, that might have had something to do with it because it's just Moose Knuckle. There's Moose Knuckle right in your face, and I'm gonna pause for a moment here just in case you need to cut all this nonsense.
No, it's fine.
Ninja foot.
It's fine.
Just
moving on.
Foot.
So Becky Lynch retains after interference by none other than the returning Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I like this.
Boss time.
I liked it too.
Boss time.
And I do like how Becky Lynch was like,
yeah,
no
right.
thumbs up.
It's like, hey, sister, we good? Remember?
We're pals, right?
We're pals, and Sasha's like, no, fuck you too.
No, fuck you and your Moose Knuckle.
So, moving on, Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte versus Alexa. Charlotte retains the championship, and she did the heinous act of ripping up Lily. How dare her?
What? Oh my god.
Rude.
What are we gonna do?
Rude. She had beautiful Alexa Bliss crying in the middle of the ring. Come on. And then trying to foam at the mouth with whatever tablet that was in her mouth.
It did not work at all. She kept trying to bite down on the packet that was in her mouth. She's like,
you can clearly see. She should put it under her tongue, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what Charlotte said?
I hate this match and that stupid dog.
Right. Champ's here. Yeah. Hopefully this whole storyline is over. Yeah.
She has a manly voice.
Well, now Alexa Bliss is gone, so
for a while.
Yeah. Poor Alexa.
All right.
I know. I love Alexa Bliss, and
I really enjoy Alexa.
and
moving on
tablet.
to the main event, the only Extreme Rules match on the
out of the 7.
Yeah. So, Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Here we go.
Roman Reigns retains. He defeats Finn Balor after Finn Balor pelvic thrust or whatever he used. It flops like a fish on the
He was
ground.
flopping. He was fish flopping.
He was fish flopping. And then he gets up on the turnbuckle. Looks like he's going to do the coup de grace. What do we call it last week? Cardi gras or whatever?
We called it the Carlito.
The can of grapes.
People who don't want to be cool.
So
I actually watched a Royal Rumble today with him in it. So as he's about to do the coup de grace, the turnbuckle mysteriously breaks. Act of God happens, and the same guy who just took a bump to the outside of the ring is suddenly put out by a bump that put him on 2 feet.
Right now.
So here's my question. So after the match, Roman Reigns is like looking up at the heaven, at Jesus, as it were.
Sure.
Is Jesus a heel? Because Roman Reigns is the bad guy.
I gave Roman permission to go ahead and point to the sky. He was actually pointing to me, but
why were you up? But he thanks. He looks. He's like, "Thank you, God." And God's like, "Okay, I'm a heel."
Well, God said Primo as the tribal chief of the show. So it's only Reigns now as the original tribal chief. But I wasn't surprised. I thought it would be kind of a little bit of a schmozzy ending. It was fun. You know what I mean? It was a good match. I mean, we know Finn wasn't winning.
No, I actually really liked the match up until the finish. I thought it was great. I love that Finn hit the can of tuna and
right.
The Usos pulled them out. I'm like, okay, there it is. I'm now satisfied with this match.
What I will say, it was creative. I'll give them that.
Well, it's like they forgot that they're no longer in the pandemic era where they could have cinematic matches. So they booked a cinematic ending for a regular match in front of a live crowd, which did not work one single bit.
Yeah.
By the way, they claimed the Demon had never been beaten.
He has been. Samoa Joe beat him.
Samoa Joe beat him. Yep. Glad you guys knew that.
Yeah.
However,
I
didn't think about this until I listened to Busted Open, and you're welcome, Busted Open. That's $10.
$10.
They said that Bully Ray basically explained it perfectly, and that was that they aren't acknowledging NXT championships right now, right?
No.
So they're not going to acknowledge NXT history right now.
Smart. Really stupid, but smart.
Yeah. Well, not a bad pay-per-view. It was a B pay-per-view, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Wasn't much. I didn't expect anything to happen.
I'm gonna agree
out
with
of 10.
I'm gonna agree with Mago. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. It would have been higher if they just would have left the main event alone.
Maybe even a 2.5.
No expectations, but I mean,
some of the matches were good though.
To happen. So, all right, Primo, get us through Raw here. We got Raw and NXT left as we need to get to the Dropkick discussion here shortly.
I just on that note, on the Extreme Rules thing, I just think that they need to drop the gimmick pay-per-views and go back to pay-per-views where if we have a story that builds up to a gimmick match, then we have it. If we have a story that's so, intensely turned into a blood feud, then we can get put them in a Hell in a Cell at a random No Way Out or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't want to have a pay-per-view this is Hell in a Cell, so now we know we're going to have at least 2 of them with no storyline. Or this is Extreme Rules, so they have to have Extreme Rules matches. You know what I'm saying? So go back to just regular. This is a pay-per-view, but and if their feud or whatever has led up to where it's personal or vicious enough of a rivalry to where it warrants Extreme or warrants a ladder or warrants whatever else, then there you go.
But not having any Extreme Rule matches was not very Extreme Rules. Yeah, go back to the regular games
that's my rant on that.
Like Payback and Cyber Tuesday, those kind of.
Cyber Tuesday was always good. I like those actually. Taboo Tuesday.
Tuesday in Texas.
Tuesday, yeah.
Hey guys, it's Dirty Bird. Want to take a second and thank our sponsor, coastlandapparel.com. That's www.coastlandapparel.com. Use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off. You see us wearing the hats and the shirts every Wednesday at 6:30, 5:30 Central on twitch.tv/dirtybird33. That's 2 I's in the bird. 33. Coastlandapparel.com. Use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off. We thank them for sponsoring the show. Go follow them on Instagram and Facebook, and also follow Sit Down Marks on Twitter as well. SITDOWNMARKS.
All right, let's get to Raw, Primo. Raw,
Let's get
Monday
to
Night
it.
Raw in Cincinnati. Big E
So-
comes out off the bat.
Yep, Raw recap. Big E versus Bobby Lashley to open up the show. During the match, Cedric and Shelton come out in their Hurt Business attire. I mean, actually, I popped for this. Hurt Business is back, baby.
Yeah, I like it.
So the New Day comes out and starts brawling with Cedric and Shelton and causes the match to stop due to DQ. However, Adam Pearce comes out and says this will not end like this tonight, and says that Big E and Bobby need to compete to see who really is the bigger man or the better man once and for all, without anyone else involved. Therefore, they'll face off again later in the night inside of a steel cage. So now we move back onto the other parts of the show here real quick before we get to the main event. Angel Garza clips Eric's wings from Viking Raiders as he defeats him one-on-one.
Yep.
So Angel Garza's getting a push.
Yep.
So they had Reggie and Ricochet were in the ring doing an actual 24/7 match.
This was great.
It was good. I mean, it was great. All kinds of flippy shit.
Yeah.
So basically, they were going flip for flip, and then they spilled to the outside of the ring in the 24/7 freaking peanut gallery, charged and attacked them all, which caused all to run away, and then eventually it led to Akira Tozawa being in the middle of the ring, and he said that, basically he wanted an open challenge, and none other than Keith Bearcat Lee shows up and answers that open challenge.
Were they saving him for Cincinnati because Cincinnati's the Bearcats? This is his Bearcat gimmick. Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like too ironic to not happen. You know what I mean? It's like they thought he would get a big pop being the Bearcats, I guess, Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see how it goes. I'm not sure.
He has the big claw strike across the outfit,
like the Wolves used to have on their chests.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Bearcat makes short work of Tozawa.
Bearcat.
Yeah, Bearcat. Sounds like an old school name though, doesn't it?
It does. Bearcat Keith Lee.
Bearcat Keith Lee, baby. So we had a championship rematch. Damian Priest face off against Sheamus in a one-on-one match for his championship in a no disqualification match. It had to end via pinfall submission inside the ring, but there were no rules. Brutal match. Actually was kind of good, but Damian Priest retained.
Yep. I mean, this match was stiff, but it was
real stiff. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I liked it.
I think it's their best match yet between those two.
So, Charlotte has an open challenge, and it's answered by Doudrop. Eva Marie comes out in the middle of the match and causes Doudrop to lose. Charlotte lays out Eva Marie afterwards. After the commercial break, Eva Marie says if she would have answered the challenge, then she would be champion right now. Then she says she can beat anyone in the locker room. Stupid Eva. So then Shayna Baszler comes out and chokes her out for running her mouth. Then she stomps Eva's arm just like she did to Nia's as the crowd chants, "One more time! One more time!" to hopefully get Shayna to bust up Eva Marie's arm one more time.
Yeah.
She did refrain though, because had she given in, they're trying to make her heel, and had she given in to the crowd, that's
Yep. Doing what she wanted. She wanted to, man. You could tell.
Yeah, she did.
Smiling a little bit.
So Goldberg speaks via. Wow.
Bearcat.
I was waiting to do that when I was
Bearcat Keith Lee.
You missed the whole Bearcat segment.
That's all right.
Goldberg speaks via satellite. He says he's going
Bearcat sounds like...
He says he's going to hurt Bobby Lashley real bad, cowboy.
Put your hands on my boy.
Yeah, and that's basically the whole gist of everything he said in a nutshell. Goldberg is going to hurt Bobby Lashley. All right, cool. All right, next up. During the main event, we have the continuation of the match earlier, which was Bobby Lashley and Big E in the cage match. Well, Bobby Lashley's already in the ring. Big E is getting into the ring, and before Big E can get into the ring, Bobby Lashley attacks Big E and beats him down around ringside, even hits him with a steel steps, and then eventually Bobby Lashley makes his way back into the ring. Big E is then able to reach down and find the strength and fortitude to defeat Bobby Lashley like the champion he is. Then, to close out the show, we have Sword Boy coming out and pointing his sword where it don't belong to close out the show.
No, Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
I love Drew McIntyre, but I don't.
I like Drew
McIntyre
McIntyre too, but like he just now got voted off the island. Why are we bringing him back?
I know,
so
don't bring him. But just
this is another guy for Big E.
I mean, I get it, and that's exactly what he's gonna say.
Yeah, Balor had to be fed to Roman.
He's gonna say, "Yeah, I couldn't go against Lashley, but now I want my title back."
But why not? Why not Seth Rollins? Feed him Seth Rollins.
Or
yeah.
So okay, before we move on to the Dropkick discussion, that's the Raw recap. That's the whole WWE recap. By the way, recap over.
No, it's
another
not.
Little side.
Got NXT. Slow down there, cowboy.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I'm not doing that this week. So
yeah,
I got one more thing about Raw. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, what are your predictions for big draft moves this week?
I think McIntyre goes to SmackDown and feuds with Roman Reigns.
Do you think? I think it would be a good time for.
Are they going to flip flop champions?
I was thinking that too. I was thinking that they would
like
flip
that,
flop the championships again, like they did back in the day with Batista and John Cena.
Roman's so good on SmackDown right now, man. That's basically moving that whole storyline to Raw.
And that's another thing too. I was thinking either they move Roman to Raw or Rollins to Raw. One of the two.
I can see Rollins. I don't think they're going to move Roman because that's the Fox show on Friday night, and if they shift Roman off of that, then they've got nothing.
That's another thing too that I haven't talked about before is clearly SmackDown is the A show now, right?
Oh yeah, by far.
What do you mean now? For a long time.
I'm just saying, like, it's on Fox. I guess I don't know what the deal is, but they start all the cool stuff now on Fridays. They don't start them on Mondays.
No, Monday is like the main event of the new WWE.
Here's my line of the night from Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you guys caught this. Corey Graves, Byron Saxton was talking, right? Corey Graves goes, Saxton, you should try one of Matt Riddle's gummy bears. And Saxton no-sold it. He said, no thanks, I'm not really into sweets.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I thought it was so good. All right, we'll move on here. NXT, I'm doing NXT this week quickly. Live from NXT 2.0 from Orlando, Florida. Right off the bat, Roman Reigns and Big E comes out, and they start fighting each other. I'm just kidding. Total joke, because they're on every damn thing. So
yes, they are.
Yeah, just total joke.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I know. What else do they have?
All right, so opener, B-Fab versus Elektra Lopez, and if you're just joining here, that is basically Hit Row versus El Legado, and what they basically do, like, go ahead.
I gotta say, I have a new favorite female superstar on NXT, Elektra Lopez. Woo! That girl, you are beautiful, ma'am. I like you.
I mean, she's no Becky Lynch, but she'll do.
If you're
that girl thick, okay?
She's no Becky Lynch's ninja foot, but she'll do.
Is this a good spot for a Bluetooth?
But I will say, I was surprised because I quickly changed my attitude about Elektra Lopez, because when they came out, I said, "Oh, what's Carmen Sandiego doing here?"
You gotta find her. Where in the world is she?
All right, so these two are going to have a match. The timing was a bit off between the two, but it ended up being Hit Row versus El Legado at the end anyway. But Elektra Lopez ends up coming out with the win. Next up, we move on to some clip hits of Index on their honeymoon. It shows Candace and Johnny spying on him. Johnny one time's he's acting like a shark with he's got a shark fin on his head, like in the water, like just spying on him throughout.
Sexy Dexy.
Dexy.
Next up, another new guy they're putting over. Zion Quinn beats Oni Larkin. MSK shows up after that to discuss their future. GYV interrupts. GYV, the grizzled young veterans.
Grizzled young.
To be recognized as the NXT Tag Team Champions, they interrupt, and then Carmelo Hayes and Tricky comes out to interrupt, and then Briggs and Jensen come out to interrupt. So usual schmozzy, they all get in a big fight. There's your tag
My
team.
boy standing tall. MSK standing tall. Keep it up, guys.
Toxic Attraction next up versus Stark and Io Shirai for the tag titles. It was a very flippy match, but Stark and Io, they retain. Next up, Braun Breaker, a promo on Ciampa, and then Ciampa a promo on Braun Breaker. But yeah, big time Scott Steiner vibes with Braun, man. It's uncanny. So next up, Andre Chase. Who did he wrestle?
Chase University.
Really quick, I have to say goodnight, Bear. Good night, Bear. Okay, there. Continue.
Good night, Bear.
It's my nephew. He's going to bed right now.
So Andre Chase wrestles Boa, who comes out, and every time they say her name, Mei Ying, I think of Mae Young.
Mae Young, minus the sex trafficking, of course.
Next up, Boa wins the match on Andre Chase, who is doing the Andre Chase U gimmick. Next up, Roddy Strong defeats Grayson Waller. Kyle O'Reilly defeats Ridge Holland post-match.
That was for the Cruiserweight Championship, by the way.
Between
which no one even...
Von Wagner. Yeah, it was for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Von Wagner.
The main
Von
event.
Wagner.
Raquel Gonzalez versus Frankie Monet. Now, we had some almost wardrobe malfunctions here with Raquel, but she ended up retaining at the end. Toxic Attraction comes out, which is Mandy Rose and her
such a terrible name.
New faction, and they return, attack Frankie, and then they circle around Raquel, almost kind of NXT style, like the original. So then they attack her. Mandy stands tall over her with the belt as the show goes off. So pretty decent NXT, not too bad, but yeah, you can tell the ratings are down. It's just a little bit a different vibe. Things are different there. So
this is Levi Cooper, and you're listening to the Sit Down Marks with DB, Primo, and AJ.
All right, let's move on, guys. Let's get going here. The rest of the show. Our Dropkick discussion of the day today is our top 5 big men, heavyweights of all time. This is just, any guy that you considered a big man, a heavyweight, the guys that were the bigger fellas, the hosses,
The
the
bigger fellas,
the,
those of girthier carriages.
yeah, all those guys back. So we're going to rate our top 5 here. So let's get started, as this is actually our last top 5, boys, for a while. So this is going to be fun. As a reminder, next week we're starting to break down our 4 weeks of Halloween Havoc pay-per-views during the month of October. So we're going to start with 1994 next week. So, all right, top 5 favorite big men. AJ, start us off, man. Who's number 5?
So number 5, my number 5 favorite big man is not a man at all, but a woman. It is Awesome Kong.
Nice.
I love Awesome Kong so much.
Awesome.
And she was Awesome Kong in TNA, correct? What was she in WWE?
It was
Karma? Was it Karma?
Yes.
Karma.
Yeah, very good.
I liked her then too, but I especially loved her in TNA. She was just, her facial expressions were always so great. Like, she's always like all snarly and
she was on Glow too, right?
Yeah, and that's another reason why I like her so much. She was on Glow.
Yeah. You got to see a different side of her, that's for sure.
Yes, cool. Yes, you did. And when she showed up in AEW, like, obviously she's only there, once or twice, which made me sad. But I loved Awesome Kong. I loved watching her do big lady things. Like,
she was a good big man.
Yes, she's like this. Like, Nia Jax, go study Awesome Kong and learn how to be a proper heavyweight. Don't just sit there and scream about your pole or whatever that entire thing that she did was. Also, don't hurt people. Like, just don't. So Awesome Kong's number 5 for me. Love her.
Primo, number 5.
So my number 5, it kind of makes me sad because Nia Jax is my number 5.
Lies.
I'm just kidding. All right, number 5.
Choke on your lies.
Number 5 is the creator of the Punjabi prison. It's Great Khali.
No, it's not.
I don't know why you say the things you say sometimes.
No, it's not. We know you too well.
Listen up. Escúchame. Listen to me. The Samoan Bulldozer. Umaga is my number 5.
Samoan Bulldozer.
Wait, why did you say escúchame in Spanish when Umaga is Samoan?
What this guy used to say.
Yeah, he's Samoan.
His manager.
Spanish.
Armando.
Yeah, that's right.
Alejandro.
Estrada. He spoke Spanish.
That was pretty good.
He would say, escúchame, and then listen.
Escúchame.
Hey, he was on AEW just like last year. He was Fatu, right, Adam? When he was Fatu for a little while?
Oh, yeah. Was that him?
MLW? Yeah, that's
Wait,
him.
Umaga was with Fatu?
No, Umaga's not alive.
Armando.
I was very like they're holding up like an Umaga corpse?
A poster cut out?
Like,
Armando
are they Weekend at
Estrada.
Bernie? Are they doing a Weekend at Bernie's with Umaga?
Armando Estrada was with Fatu there, so
right. So
makes more sense.
Yeah. My number 5 is Umaga. He was awesome. I mean, he was great. How could you be that shape and move that fast?
Yeah. It was pretty impressive.
And and I just loved his viciousness. And for a while, I was like, who could beat this guy? He was one of the first people I saw do the thumb.
The thumb in the pie?
Yeah. Thumb in the pie.
All right, Adam.
Die.
Adam, let's talk about your number 5, man. Who you got?
For some reason, when I think of big men, I kind of think about older wrestling.
Okay. Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah,
me too. I'll get to that too.
Yeah, so my list really gravitated towards that. My number 5 was Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
nice. Almost made my list.
You get pen clicks.
He was young me going to the video rental store. He would pop up often in there. He was on all the big programming when we were younger. He migrated to ECW where he was very relevant and was in a lot of big moments from the going through the ring and going through the ramp and throwing Spike Dudley into the crowd.
Yeah.
His gear is as iconic as it gets, I think.
Yeah.
It's certainly up there.
For sure. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, he was one of those household names. Be like, oh, Bam Bam Gordy, or Bam Bam Bigelow. Be like, oh yeah, he's the guy with
The flames and
yeah.
the
He was like a
action
legit
roles.
motherfucking badass.
Yep,
The firefighter, he
Mhm.
to save people like on the regular, like tough guy.
One of the original like agile big men too.
He was like him doing action roles always made me laugh though. I don't know why, because he could do them so well, but he was 350 pounds, like doing an action role.
And he helped LT through a main event.
He did.
Yeah, I mean he headlined a WrestleMania, so
sure, yeah.
Even if it was not one of the better WrestleManias, but yeah, sure does.
All right. My number 5. Let's go back to the NWA a little bit, boys. Now you might have to Google this one, but this guy always stuck in my head. The Barbarian. Okay.
Oh, I know. I love the Barbarian.
All right. So the Barbarian, he was an 80s wrestler. He kind of had a little bit of the Road Warrior gimmick. He had the black tights, the boots. I always remember him with Paul Jones. He didn't ever say much, but when he did, it was kind of like a berserker type. Huff, huff, huff. He'd be doing. But anyway, he'd have like this paint just like up under his eyes. Anyway, I was scared to death of this dude when I was little, man. And but the older I got, the more I watched him wrestle. He was a big time heel. He was one of the first guys I ever seen do the throat slit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, he's gonna kill this guy for real. And he would he was always thought he had the best shoulder tackle. The shoulder block.
Yeah, I remember that.
Small things you remember, right? But he was he was another guy like Adam talked about being agile as a big man. He couldn't talk on the mic for shit.
Nope.
He was in the tag team with the Warlord.
That's how I remember Powers of Pain. That's how they had Fuji, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Okay, that's how I remember him.
I saw them wrestle like a month ago, man.
Yeah, I saw them
really?
wrestle Black Label Pro like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Wait,
Warlord
and Berserker are both still alive?
We might have
Barbarian.
Barbarian and Warlord.
Yeah, they teamed with Warhorse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Danhausen against Nick Cage and the Second Gear Crew.
Yeah, they didn't do much. Let's put it that way. They didn't do much.
How they were awesome. Still alive. Those roidy fucks.
No, they were awesome, man. Like they did a spot where Nick Gage held Barbarian and let fans chop him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad you guys know who the Barbarian is. So that is my number 5. AJ, let's round out number 4 here. Let's go.
Well, we just went over him. My number 4 is Bam Bam Bigelow, the Beast from he's from New Jersey. But
all right.
So we
Asbury Park.
Asbury Park. So we actually talked about him a lot. In the last couple of weeks, we talked about him a lot because of what his flames, like he saved kids from burning buildings. I mean, he was in jail once or twice. Like, who hasn't been in jail once or twice? I mean, I've never been in jail, but anyways, he was just agile. He was awesome. I liked him better as a babyface though, because he had like great babyface fire. Get it? Ba-ding, bong, bing, bong. But yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow is my number 4. I loved him. I still love him. I will go back and watch Bam Bam Bigelow matches and think they're shit because they were 30 years ago. But for what at the time they were awesome.
No, man, there's stuff that still holds up. Like
maybe not with LT, but
what'd you say, Adam?
One that stuck out in my head for some reason was Tatanka from the Rumble and
one of my most hated.
Whatever that was. What was that, like 95 probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
No, stop the Tatanka yell.
I actually have a Tatanka yell. That's
so weird. Look, why do you just have that? Is it to mess with me? Oh, by the way, really quick, Maggle's number 5 was Earthquake. Maggle's number 4 was Big Man Bader.
Primo, number 4.
Number 4. So he clearly made an impact on people today, or not today, but over the years. And he was also very agile for being a big dude, a tall dude. He was tall, more like a tall and taller type guy. And that is Brody Lee.
Nice.
Huh. Interesting pick.
Nice.
I guess I would consider him a big man.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of mad.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely a big dude.
Brody
A
Lee,
big dude,
yeah.
and he can lay a drop kick.
Sure.
He's a big guy.
Yes,
Sure.
he could. A good drop kick. Too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Who did you say Michael's number 4 was?
Big Van Vader.
Love it. Adam, number 4. Let's go.
The Big Boss Man.
Nice. Yeah, Ray Trailer.
Hell yeah.
I do love the Big Boss
it.
Man.
Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man. The original gimmick was
agile big man again.
Yeah.
Back to my youth, and how awesome was his entrance music?
It was great.
Yeah.
He used to do like inside crescent kicks. He's like 6'10", doing like crescent kicks. Like, what are you doing?
That spot where he would like run and slide out of the ring and run around the post and jump in the ring and run the rope.
He was spry. He was sprightly. Although I did hate him when he was with Hakeem, because I hate Hakeem. Like stop it, Hakeem.
Not a fan of the Twin Towers, are you?
No. I was not. I mean, I love Boss Man, just not.
Well, you are
Hakeem.
by yourself because everybody loves Twin Towers.
No one does. That's a lie. You're a liar.
All right, my number 4 is a Bam Bam, but it is Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
Yeah.
UWF is where I saw this guy wrestle for the first time. This was probably pre-Freebird era, maybe just as he was in the Freebirds. But, man, had this guy stayed on Earth longer, probably would have, had a lot more recognition. He was the wrestler's wrestler, man. He was big and smooth, agile. He could wrestle for power. He could wrestle for finesse. I love watching Bam Bam Gordy matches, and basically him versus a mop I would watch. He was that good, man. So if you haven't watched any Bam Bam Gordy, go look him up, man. UWF champion, I believe, for a while. Tag team champion with the Freebirds forever.
Freebirds versus Von Erichs, man.
Yes.
Versus Von Erichs all day. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. That's all you need to look up right there, and you can see what Bam Bam Gordy was about. So, all right, here we go. Let's go top 3. AJ.
Sorry, I'm looking up Terry Gordy stuff right now because I've heard of Terry Gordy, but I've never actually seen him or anything. So number 3 for me. Oh, God damn it, Michael. Is the Undertaker. Thank you very much. I agree with my. You had that one queued pretty quickly, so you must have knew that one was coming eventually.
Yeah, that was somebody's, not mine.
I mean, obviously, Undertaker. For every reason that we've spoken about Undertaker before, best gimmick in the world, or best gimmick in the history of wrestling. He was super agile. Like him jumping over the top rope is still one of the best dive over the top ropes ever. He did Old School, which before he called it Old School was just called School. I guess.
Walk rope. It's just called
Present day school.
He's just present day school. Primary school.
Number 3. All right.
Number 3 is Undertaker.
Primo.
For all the obvious reasons.
Numero.
Number 3?
Number 3.
Twa.
Number 3 for me is
what's happening here?
Diesel, baby.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Diesel.
Had to put on the
Kevin
glove.
Nash.
Raise the hand. Yeah.
The worst drawing champion of all time, huh?
Big Daddy Cool.
And Kevin Nash, both iterations for me. Kevin Nash, Diesel, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm okay with him.
Big sexy.
Poke of doom.
He was a terrible champion.
I'm a fan of his in general as a wrestler, actor, all of it. He is
pretty funny.
Me too.
Like
he was great on Roadhouse.
Pretty cool.
When he was like Dr. Nash.
I said he was great on Roadhouse.
The movie Roadhouse?
Implying that he was Sam Elliott. I'm kidding because they're kind of.
Do you have that wah wah sound effect
wah.
queued
I
up?
don't.
'Cause
I
what
don't.
about crickets?
I'm laughing at
It
Primo.
was super
Primo don't even
shiny,
know what Roadhouse was. He's like, Roadhouse? Is that a
Roadhouse.
restaurant?
Do they have steaks?
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
I'm
Yeah.
from Texas.
Of course, I know what Roadhouse is.
Nice.
Good
Adam,
garlic
number
bread.
3.
Yo, I also had the Undertaker at 3.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, 3 of us have Undertaker at 3.
Yeah, so we've said a lot already. Longevity. We talked about the agility. The first 2 Hell in the Cells were Taker. The HBK matches really stick out from Mania. They're all-time stuff.
Yep.
And I loved how bizarre his debut was.
With Buddy Love?
With Brother Love, but
Love, yes.
He was a random mystery partner in a 4-on-4 Survivor Series.
Yeah. It's like they didn't know what to do. Let's just stick him in here.
I remember Roddy Piper was on commentary for that. And he was like, "Wow, look at the ham hock." It's like,
Yeah, look at the ham hock. Yeah.
Yes.
My number 3, I agree with Primo. I got Big Daddy Cool Diesel in there. I love, from the cranking up of the truck, even though how cheesy it was. But I loved him in every gimmick he ever did, anything. So I love Diesel. All right, I'm interested to see our top 2 here. AJ, top 2. Here you go, number 2.
So Mogul actually already mentioned my number 2. It's Earthquake. It's John Tenta. So when you think of like shouty big man promos from like the late 80s, early 90s, Earthquake is like the epitome of that to me.
What
Where
he
you- like,
had
where he
the
just-
mark on his tights.
Yeah, well, when he was in WCW, he was Shark, he had like and when he pulled it up, the shark looked like it was biting. But he would bounce back, and he would do like the Brock bounce, and he would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out there, Hulk Hogan, and I'm gonna be," and he would just be a big fat sweaty guy shouting his promo, and I loved it. And then when he got to WCW, he got even worse because he like put like a fin on his head, and he painted his face, and he was.
It was he with Typhoon. They were the natural disaster.
The natural disaster,
AKA the Shockmaster.
Yeah, with Tugboat. I'm guaranteeing you that Tugboat makes no one's list right now. But also, John Tenta, a couple more things. He was a lovely guy in real life, according to all reports.
John Tenta makes nobody's list but yours, by the way.
He was on Muggles. And also, he was an actual...
Muggle!
He was an actual Yokozuna in Japan. He was a sumo wrestler. And he's awesome. I will have no one speak otherwise. Ever. He's awesome.
Primo,
Big man
number
promo.
2. I shall call him number 2.
Number 2 for me is I grew up with him, just like I grew up with the number 1 on my list, but he is the mayor of Knox County. He's also the Big Red Machine, Undertaker's little brother, the devil's favorite demon. Anymore.
Jeez, got a lot of nicknames, don't he?
Yeah,
He does. Anyway, it's Kane.
You forgot Corporate King.
God, it's Kane.
Yeah, it is Corporate Kane. Too. No, I've liked Kane forever. In fact, whenever he unmasked, how old? This is 2003 time frame when he unmasked, right?
Mm-hmm. Around that time.
I was actually like 14, 15 years old. And unmasked Kane scared the shit out of me.
He was an ugly man.
Compared to actual masked Kane. Because masked Kane was cool. You know, he did the whole freaks are cool, man. Like with with the hurricane and all that. But so anyway, unmasked Kane, when he first got unmasked and went insane and burned JR, I was like, dude, this guy's scary as fuck.
Yeah, right. I know.
But anyway, Kane is my number 2. I think he's awesome. And he's so cool.
Kane is also Moggle's number 2 over there in the chat.
Adam, who you got number 2, buddy?
I have Vader.
Oh, it's time.
Do it. Do it. I heard a couple things real quick.
Big man Vader.
One of the best squash workers ever.
Yes.
watching him murder jabronis is one of just
Stiff
hop
is
on
stiff,
hop on the computer and YouTube some
Yeah.
Vader murdering people that signed up for shit.
He was not a soft worker with enhancement talent.
He probably caused a lot of guys not to go to wrestling school.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Again, something from my youth. When I was growing up and watching wrestling, the heels were always the guys that cheated to win, but he was a heel that just beat people's ass.
Yeah, didn't need to cheat.
And it was almost confusing to watch for young me to see him, beat up Sting and, pin him clean.
Yeah.
But it's something that really stuck out from my youth. That and him just really tearing dudes up. So
yeah,
didn't his eye pop out in the ring at one point?
Stan Hansen against Stan Hansen. He actually grabbed it and put it back in.
Which so gross.
Which you can do, by the way.
Oh,
which none of us will ever do anything that bad.
Oh, little metal.
He's also the one who was in the ring when Mick Foley lost his ear.
He was
just surrounded by missing body parts. All the time.
He was stiff before we knew what stiff was in wrestling. Yeah. One more thing too about him, man. That cool headdress he would put.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was nasty, mean looking. Yeah.
It's like an elephant looking thing, and that was pretty cool.
Yep. For me at number 2, I'm going to go back here. A lot of people probably only know this guy from Dark Side of the Ring, but if you don't, man, go Google Bruiser Brody. He was probably the thickest, baddest son of a bitch ever in wrestling. He looked the part. He was the part. He loved wrestling. He was a big man. He took on all comers. He wrestled in places where a lot of people would die. You know what I mean? And, he was, crazy enough to do it. And for me, he was just the epitome of a big man back then of the style. He was known Japan, United States, should have been a way bigger star than he was. We know what happened to him. But what'd you say, Adam?
Yeah, just throwing in Puerto Rico. His, unfortunately, where he passed, but huge star. Yeah. So if you got time ever, go Google random Bruiser Brody matches. You'll go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, if I could throw it in, it's absolutely delightful to watch the Japanese crowd run from him.
Oh yeah, it is pretty funny.
Yeah, they were straight legit scared too. All right, boys, let's wrap it up. Let's go to number 1, AJ. Start with 5. Let's go to 1 here. I haven't heard a certain person's name yet, so this number 1 might be interesting. Let's go.
Number 5, Awesome Kong. Number 4, Bam Bam Bigelow. Number 3, Undertaker. Number 2, Earthquake. And number 1 of all time, how could it be anything other than
the Brute Squad? Would you like a peanut? Would you like a peanut?
No more rhymes. No, I mean it. Anybody want a peanut? Andre the Giant. It's obviously Andre the Giant. So I say Andre the Giant. He's my favorite, not because he was a fantastic wrestler, because he was absolute garbage. Plus, he was before my time. 2 things that, might have been a knock against him, but he has such a myth surrounding everything about his performance. I mean, I caught the tail end of Andre the Giant as a kid.
Yeah. And
it was when he was in the midst of his turning back face after he feuded with Hulk Hogan and the body slam and blah, blah, blah. And, obviously he could not go in the ring at all. He could barely stand up by the time that I started watching him. But then, he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Princess Bride. And then you see documentaries about him. And he was just in he was literally this gigantic person in both physically and as far as the
HBO
personality.
Really good.
It was, yes. Everyone go watch that. It's fantastic.
Yep. Wrestling would not be where it is today without Andre.
Nope.
if he's not on everybody's Mount Rushmore, like I don't like you take Andre out of professional wrestling. I don't think it's as big as it is.
And it's so
That's how I feel about Andre.
It's so weird. Like he barely spoke English. Like it was like super broken English with this thick French accent. He couldn't wrestle.
Yeah,
but he was magnetic. Like he was amazing. Like you couldn't not watch him, and just awesome. So obviously number one.
Yeah, he lived such a miserable life being that big in that era, in that time. Had he been born this day and age, say somebody like Big Show, there's more accommodations these days. We've heard tons of stories, but Primo number one.
My number one. We'll go number 5-1. We have Umaga. Number 4, Brody Lee. Number 3, Diesel. Big Sexy, Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash. Number 2, Kane. And number 1 for me is Giant Silva from the Oddities, also known.
Nobody even knows who that is.
You never seen the Oddities before?
Yes.
I know who that
Nobody
is.
remembers.
He actually fought in Pride Fighting once.
How did he do?
He lost.
He lost.
He lost.
Lost horribly.
Yeah.
It was an embarrassment.
He's also known as Gigante Silva. But my real number 1 is The Undertaker, playa. So, I mean, everything's already been said about it. Thanks for ruining my number 1, you marks.
You're welcome.
Adam, who you got number 1, buddy?
I'll run down the list real fast. 5, Bam Bam. 4, Boss Man. 3, Taker. 2, Vader. Number 1, surprised I hadn't heard his name. I've got Yoko.
Yoko.
Yeah.
Nice.
A whole lot of the same stuff that I said about Vader. Watching him murder jobbers. It's a true love of mine in pro wrestling. The murder of jobbers.
Right.
Just watch enhancement talent get absolutely destroyed.
Adam sends me videos all the time of guys botching, and we always call it if Adam had been a wrestler, and Adam we always add some to the list. It's like one of the best things ever, man. But,
Yeah, me and my buddy Matt.
We've
been sending those around for 3 or 4 years now, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's Yoko.
Sure.
Yeah, and he was around for a bit. His tag team with Owen was maybe a bit underrated. They had a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, it's and staying, especially earlier Yoko, he moved so well for a guy that was unreasonably big.
That was 600 pounds by the end of his career.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it on Peacock? They had the Peacock thing. Or was it? He was on the one of the Icons episodes.
You're right. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Question, I want to answer a question coming from the chat right now. I would have put Dusty Rhodes on this. Yes, he was big, but I always thought kind of big guys is kind of taller, bigger. Like Dusty was, kind of not as,
I mean,
tall.
he was
a big man considered, like he could be on this list for sure, but I didn't put him on it.
His belly might be a little round.
My belly
might be a little big. My butt might be a little big, but his tallness ain't that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, but in the same breath, like Bam Bam wasn't all that tall.
No, he's not. That's why.
I almost put Brock Lesnar on my list.
So,
see,
all right.
Yeah.
My number 5-1, the Barbarian at 5, Bam Bam Terry Gordy at 4, Diesel, Kevin Nash at 3, Bruiser Brody at 2. My number 1, me and AJ talked about it already, Andre the Giant. He just transcends wrestling, man. So to me, he's got to be number 1. Let me run down a few names that we might have left out here real quick before we move on. How about Kamala, Haystacks Calhoun?
Haystacks.
How about Viscera, Big Daddy V?
Oh, I hated Viscera.
How about Jerry Blackwell, the One Man Gang? Abdul the Butcher.
One Man Gang was also
Akeem.
Yeah.
Yes. Big John Studd,
winner of the first Royal Rumble.
Sid Vicious.
Sid was one. Yeah.
I actually considered Sid Vicious.
Did Big John Studd win the first Royal Rumble? I thought Hacksaw. Jim
Oh,
Hacksaw.
yeah, you're right. It was Hacksaw.
No, Big
and
John
then
Studd won the first Battle Royal.
before it was called Royal Rumble.
I don't know. How about Rikishi?
Nah, I hated
Big
Rikishi.
Keish.
How about Blackjack Mulligan, Adam? Huh? Blackjack Mulligan. Primo's favorite wrestler from Texas, Mark Henry.
You know, you laugh, but I almost put it on my list.
Yeah, he was
All right,
he was close to get on my list. Yeah.
last couple here. Stan Hansen,
Yeah.
The Big Show.
Oh, yeah, none of us even had Big Show.
Well, it's the big slow.
One little tidbit from the 80s. Good old Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim. Which, by the way, how awesome did he look in the Nostalgia Battle Royal for, like, it was on X7 where they had like the gimmick Battle Royal, and Hillbilly Jim came out at the age of like 60 and he looked like he was 25. I don't know why I remember that about Hillbilly Jim, but I do.
All right, let's get to the rest of the pod here, guys. Let's talk about real quick, man. Adam, I'm going to ask you, man, the importance to wrestling that Omega versus Bryan happened right now, and what are your expectations going forward? You think it's going to be a long feud, short feud? You know, I mean, the reason why I'm asking this question is because I think it's pretty important that this match happened.
I think that it happens, and the way Danielson has communicated his choice to go there is where a lot of the significance is, because before it was people going, the WWE, like Punk, they're, you know, the WWE's horrible, screw them, they're awful people. And this guy was just like, they're great to me. This just looks like more fun for me.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Punk. Yeah. You can see it. They're having a, you know.
So for Danielson to be on the other page and say, you know, you don't have to hate him to come here, I think that is very relevant.
Yeah.
For it being the dream match of dream matches that, I don't know, a year ago we didn't think we would ever see, to be on free live TV, for a dream match to deliver at all is huge, let alone deliver, you know, like AJ said, is that the match of the year? It is just delivering tenfold on every reason why wrestling is hot right now. And yeah.
And you guys want to jump in real quick on that? AJ, go.
No,
Yeah, it's a podcast. You can just talk. You don't have to.
Well, I don't have anything to add. He said it better than I could have, so I'm just going to agree.
Right,
yeah, like what he said.
I'll let you kick this one off then, AJ. Do you like the Bloodline versus the New Day storyline? And do you think it's just to get more attention on Roman and Big E going at it at Survivor Series?
Yes, and I think that's where it's going to culminate. And they need to do something, obviously, because like we were talking about last week, like Roman and the Bloodline, it's all still awesome, but it's in real dangerous territory right now of becoming stale. And if you throw New Day in there, which are never stale, and it's a reunited New Day, and there's the added bonus of Big E having the WWE Championship, like that's going to make it feel fresh again. So I think it's very, like, even if Roman doesn't have a title match coming up, like he doesn't have a title feud, I think this is the best thing that they could possibly do for him and the Bloodline right now, is just put him in a non-title feud with the New Day. And I think it'll be great. Because I would love to watch that for the next 2 months. I'd be okay with it. And then have it culminate at Survivor Series. Plus, it gives...
They're adding the Hurt Business in now, too, so that we might have a little bit of...
another... Yeah.
I like it, though. I like it.
I do, too.
All right, boys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Primo.
I was just going to say, my problem is that I like both of them so much.
I do too.
I'm a big fan of the New Day and a big fan of the Bloodline. I've been a fan of the New Day since they started. Right. And I've loved the Usos, and obviously my favorite champ has been Roman forever now. And since we've been asking who our favorite champ is. But it's for me, it's like a hard decision. Who do I want to win this?
Yeah.
The culmination. So.
Right. Yeah, because you want to kind of see both
You know, another thing too is I don't want Big E's run to be cut short ever. I want them to give him a real run.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not be a transitional champ.
Like I don't want him to drop the title until it's boring for him to have the title. If that makes any sense. Like I don't mean that in like a bad way. Like
when you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's time for somebody else.
Yeah, it's time now.
Yeah.
Well, Dark Side of the Ring was a little better this week, which I mean better, like as in we didn't hear too many gross stories. This
as
one
in who
was all
better?
about who better than Canyon. I remember Canyon from WCW. A lot of people remember Mortis. What were your thoughts on this episode, guys?
I think that it was, a lot of people, most people spoke positively. What I thought was the crazy stories that come from James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, how he would just be. Well, I mean, obviously, when he was telling the stories, I was like, man, obviously bipolar.
Yes.
He'd be talking about how, because he was one of the only ones that knew that he was homosexual or in the early days, and how his paranoia would get the best of him, and he'd be like, did you freaking say something, or anyway, and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I think the lisp bothered him a lot. Because he probably would have been a hell of a wrestler. Well,
he was,
like,
and
I mean, on the mic. Hell of a wrestler in the ring.
Yeah, he was innovative.
Yeah.
Like he came up with some of the offense that we see today.
I loved Mortis. I thought it was. I was into that, man.
But I know what you mean, because he was never above mid card, so I know exactly what you mean. Like
he couldn't fully develop the character.
Yeah. Also,
go ahead.
We were talking about this before we started, like the Boy George incident, which I'd heard about that, but I'd never actually seen it, like the actual incident that they were referencing. And it's gross. Don't go back and don't Google the actual Boy George incident or anything like that, because
it was a bad.
It was the grossest chair shot I've ever seen, and I really, like Primo and I were talking, I really, really hope it wasn't as some sort of punishment. That Taker did that, because obviously he was the locker room judge or whatever the fuck you want to call him. So hopefully he wasn't meting out any kind of punishment, because I don't think I can handle that knock on Taker's character. So but don't go watch it. It's a gross chair shot.
Good story though about guys like him helped other guys come out as being gay wrestlers. Look at we have a ton of openly gay wrestlers now, which is awesome. So guys like Canyon paved the way for these guys to be able to come out. But a sad ending.
It was.
DD. I remember him and DDP working together a lot when I was watching WCW. So. I always thought "Who better than Canyon" was a cool line, man.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Brian Cage uses that now.
Which Brian Cage talking about Canyon was very touching. Same thing with DDP
and the Bucks
and the Young Bucks. They all, it was very touching listening to them tell stories. And
Luke Hawx, Adam. I didn't know anything about that whole deal with them being friends, so that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, what's Luke Hawx doing on here? But yeah. So that was kind of cool.
This week's episode is FMW.
Yeah, Onita.
Yeah,
that's gonna be awesome.
The electrical death matches, explosions.
Okay, maybe this one might be a little bit happier than. I mean, yes, it's about death matches and explosions and stuff, but hopefully it won't be a.
Real quick, boys, what did you like and didn't like about Extreme Rules?
I had boy! Off real quick, by the way.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Onita.
He's got the cigarette in his mouth and everything.
That's fucking awesome.
Sweet. Nice.
I hope that's like a toy for children, and it has a cigarette in the mouth. That's fucking awesome.
Japan, man, Japan.
What did I like and dislike about Extreme Rules? Obviously, I liked everything up to and including the main event. I didn't like the main event finish. I hated it. Like,
Primo?
yeah.
What did I like? I liked the triple threat match. I liked the other match. The Usos and the Street Profits.
I liked wrestling.
I also liked the main event minus. I thought the what's it called? The finish was creative.
It was.
But
a way for him to lose without really losing.
Yeah, he didn't lose clean.
He didn't take a Superman punch or
exactly. So I just feel like I liked it. I liked for the most part. I still think it wasn't I went on this rant earlier about the gimmick pay-per-views, but some of the matches were good. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Adam, what are you liking most right now in AEW besides Bryan and Omega?
Ooh, man. I'd say the thing that gives me the most joy weekly is Eddie Kingston being super over.
Yeah.
Every single place they go. I love when Eddie breaks out old lines. I love when he breaks out stupid new lines. Like, what was the one about redeem these nuts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, redeem these nuts.
Redeem these nuts.
Yeah, Eddie's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love the Brian Pillman Jr. thing right now. Him getting a little bit of a push. You know, I like when watching Phoenix wrestle every week. That's cool.
Yes.
Oh, so awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Any other guys got anything here before we move on?
CM Punk. Always CM Punk.
Of course, yeah. Punk. All the
just
big
promos every week.
Yep, just killing it and putting. He's going to keep putting people over while winning at the same time. I like that booking. I think that's
we
smart.
need dueling mics with him and Eddie though.
That would be so good.
Yeah. It's bound to happen.
Or him and MJF would also be.
Oh, that's happening.
Unbelievable.
That's happening for sure.
All right, I want to thank Coastland Apparel for sponsoring the pod here today. Episode number 30, Coastland Apparel. Use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off your order. Primo, where can you get the Sit Down Marks podcast?
You can get the Sit Down Marks on Twitch, obviously. Also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and now on SportzWire Online Radio, live Fridays at 6:45 Eastern Time, right before the Thomas Bryce Show. The number one.
I can't do it yet. I still can't.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star review if you love the pod. Download and follow and share on all your friends. If you don't, AJ is gonna play "Ass Man" by Billy Gunn at your front door
on a kazoo,
and he's going to do it in a slingshot singlet.
Goddamn right I am.
Banana.
All right, real quick, boys, before we get to St. Louis Anarchy here,
Banana.
What can other promotions do? I don't mean just WWE, like to compete with AEW right now with all these free agents that they are signing. I mean,
Nothing.
Bray Wyatt is the biggest one out there right now, but you know,
just be exciting, be creative, and be exciting.
Storylines.
And yeah, of course. In the end, wrestling's one big soap opera.
I gotta throw out don't be a shithead. I feel like that's where AEW started their success.
Yeah, by not being
shitheads. Where some people might purposely do it. When you have the goal to not do that, hey, good things happen.
Also, listen to the fans.
Yep.
Like it's a classic Vince, you know, when he said you don't like what you like what I tell you like. Like, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to like whatever the fuck I want to like. We're going to cheer the shit out of Adam Cole, and it's probably going to respond, like AEW's probably going to respond in kind. And I don't know, it's annoying. Like, WWE is bothersome. Like, I hate, because there's so many people on WWE that I love, but it's a bothersome product.
I think if you see how AEW can course correct itself when something's just clearly not working, and it's just refreshing from years and years of just why were we watching something we didn't like? I don't know.
Like, can you imagine if AEW like tried to push the whole Roman Reigns as a super babyface? They would have fixed it after like 3 months of it not working. They would have been like, okay, let's try something new, as opposed to 5 goddamn years of it.
They would have knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's the problem, and that's the one thing too. Like for me, as a lifelong WWE loyalist, it's hard. It sucks. And I'm not gonna lie, I love AEW now. Like, and I have since it came out. I was excited when it began, but as time has gone on, I'm just like, AEW is amazing, and the one I grew up with is just
it's not great.
They're subpar. They're just not doing it for me.
No,
they're doing it for children now, and AEW is doing it. That's another thing too. The demographic.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. My kids ain't watching AEW. No.
Right.
Right. Maybe they should be. Then.
All of us that grew up, like for me, I was a teenager through Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression, and now I'm, as an adult person, I want to see, I don't want to see freaking patty cake and shit like that. So.
You don't want to see Alexa Bliss have a fucking doll named Lily.
All right, that's enough WWE bashing, boys. Let's move on here to St. Louis Anarchy Wartime here. Let me run over the card. We were front row in Granite City, Illinois at St. Louis Anarchy last Friday night. First of all, man, I like the venue, man. That was cool.
It was pretty cool.
Lodge, you feel like you're outside, but you're still inside, kind of covered. So I thought it was cool. I'm looking forward to going back there. October 22nd is their next card. But let me just run down what happened that night, and then we'll talk about our favorite match. Davey Richards defeated Everett Connors, which this was the rematch from the last time they wrestled. So Davey is up now 2-0 on Everett. Kenny Alfonso defeated Craig Mitchell. Derek Neal defeated Thomas Shire. Planet Williams defeated Davey Vega. Calvin Tankman defeated Kevin Lee Davidson, KLD. And then Mr. St. Louis Anarchy himself, Gary J, defeated Ricky Shane Page. And Jeremy Wyatt kept the Gateway Heritage title in a fantastic main event versus Daniel Makabe. Favorite match of the night, boys?
Well, wait, did you mention what's their names? Billy Sky, Billy Starks?
No, I didn't, because I couldn't remember all of their names, so I didn't.
It's Billy Starks and Bovine University. Another Simpsons reference, right?
Jake,
in the premiere.
Jake Durden and
Soup Campbell.
Yep, Soup Campbell, Bishop. Yep. Thanks for calling me out on the one match I left out.
Well, I have to mention it because I loved it. Like,
oh, okay, that was your favorite.
Like, I kept calling them Bovine University because I didn't know I'm going to Bovine University. But I like that match a lot. But obviously, it was the main event because I'm a Daniel Makabe nerd, and I had no idea going in that it was booked as a pure wrestling match. Did you guys know that was the stipulation going in?
I actually did, yeah. It was pure rules only.
How did I not know that?
Yeah, I don't know. I did know that. I don't know, didn't think about it. But yeah, that was a great match. I also loved Gary J and Ricky Shane Page.
That was my first.
Page is the guy that's been wrestling Big Show here the last week or so on Dark, and he said
the bump into the chairs was
bump in the chair. Yes.
Oh my God, that was so gross.
Guard. I didn't. Ricky Shane Page. He had Gary J, and he basically threw him on like 2 rows of chairs that were stacked together. Like,
I think he cleared the first 2 rows.
Yeah, he cleared the first row and took out the next 2 rows behind it. It was gross.
This was a really awesome card. I loved all these matches. They had ring trouble. They kept taking out.
Oh my God, the ring!
You know,
it added
such
to
a
it.
heel.
Yeah,
I was a nervous.
They kept taking out slats of the ring and going on. I kept thinking, yeah, people are going to get hurt here.
Adam and I were sitting there, and just every time like someone would take what was the big Haas match where
the Tankman KLD?
Oh my God, yes! Every time they did anything, Adam and I were both like, oh God, they're gonna go through it. They're gonna die. Don't die.
It's gonna
It's
drop.
like a nervous parent.
Yep.
The
That
ring
was
was
a
a heel
really
that night.
awesome card, man. I had fun. Looking forward to going back. Alex
That was
Zane,
awesome.
they announced for October 22nd as well. Yeah, looking forward to going back, man. So kudos to St. Louis Anarchy, man.
Awesome show.
Yeah, it was a great
Good
show.
all the way through. It's already up on IWTV.
Sure is.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was also what 3.5 hours long, and it went by like that. It did not seem like it was 3.5 hours.
Live shows to me always go by so fast. Like
yeah, that's true.
There were so many good matches. So
There really were.
There was nothing that overstayed its welcome either. I definitely noticed that
drug on.
Yeah. Well, the guy behind us that kept yelling rock things that wore out its welcome pretty quickly.
There's always that one guy, people's elbow.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Fucking Mark.
Yeah, that was great though. It was a great show. AJ, talk to me, man. What's going on the pod next week?
Next week. Oh my God, excuse me. I choked on words. So, apart from our usual recaps and reactions and all that good stuff that you come to this podcast for, next week, the return of Promo School with Razor Ramon. We return with Squared. Oh, see, I'm talking over your sound bites. Wait, go ahead. Do the sound bite. Do it. Do the sound bite. So we have Squared Circle questions returning. We have the return of music class, which I'm very excited about because music class is awesome. And our Dropkick discussion. We don't do a typical top 5 list. Now we're starting with the Halloween Havocs next week, and I'm so excited.
We're going to break it down what happened on those, which kind of became a flagship pay-per-view for WCW. So should be fun next week.
They are the best kind of nonsense. Every Halloween Havoc is just the best because it's probably the worst.
All right, so last week was a big week in the UFC, so we started doing something fun here. AJ, not a UFC guy, we had him pick the top, the main event card, and ended up going 3-2.
Hell yeah! Look at me going.
You lost the first 2, and then you finished strong. You got the last 3 right. So you're a 3-2 heading into this weekend, which is another card. So we're going to add to the total here. So if you're ready to make your picks, let's go.
I'm ready.
We give him last names only, so he don't know shit. So
nope.
Lad
thing.
Lad versus Chasen.
Lad versus Chasen.
Serkinov versus Jocko.
So the first match, I'm gonna go Lad, obviously. Second match, I'm gonna go Jocko, obviously.
Oliveira versus Price.
What's the? Oh, those aren't funny. Oliveira.
Holland versus Dawkins.
Are any of these women's matches, by the way?
I think this one is.
Let's go with Hollis. No, I mean, what were they?
Holland or Dawkins?
Dawkins.
And then the main event, Santos versus Walker.
Santos versus Walker. Well, let me think about this for a second. Santos sounds like he can punch. Walker sounds like he can also punch.
That is so accurate. They're just two crazy people fighting.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Santos.
They're both gonna do stupid shit until somebody falls.
Walker,
who would know it? They both can punch.
Yeah. See, I know my shit.
You know your punchers.
We're gonna go with Santos.
All right. Well, thank you, Adam, for coming on the show today, man.
Hell
Appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you, brother.
Thanks,
it was an absolute blast to finally go wrestling with you last Friday, man.
I had one thing to add.
All right.
Real quick. Our local minor baseball team.
Okay.
It was the West Virginia Power. This week, they changed their name to the Charleston Dirty Birds.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow.
I will track down one of those shirts, brother.
That's fucking awesome.
Is dope.
I'm so angry right now.
Is that in Charleston?
Charleston, West Virginia, yeah.
That is so
well, I mean,
cool.
I'm in Northern Virginia, so I'm not too far.
That is sweet.
That's awesome.
There's actually, I think there's a house show coming there.
Yep.
Soon. Yeah.
Yep.
There's never going to be like a minor league baseball team called like the Poughkeepsie AJs, so I'm never going to get a cool hat or anything.
Rockers, Primos.
No, people go to the ring and cut Primos.
They do. Becky Lynch cuts a mean Primo.
Thanks, everybody, for downloading and subscribing to the show. That is episode number 30. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'm the Dirty Bird for AJ and Primo and our guest, Warwig. There's only 3 words to finish up here.
And remember, grab them cakes.